And it's time na para dito sa ating main event as we head on to our series na kung saan makikita natin Execration or Virtus.pro ba ang mananalo. Kasi guys, naku,
What?
may history itong dalawang team na to, di ba, bipolar? Ano ba yung history na yon?
Yung history na to, nako po, Mochi, it has been very much deep. But, kasi if you think about it, sila yung naglalaban-laban last time sa number 2-3 spot natin. Tapos, yung characters nila, they jive well each other. They jive within well each other. They jive.
Tama. They jive. Tama naman talaga. They jived well with each other. Ayan. Tinulungan na kita, pre. No? I got you. Pero,
Thank you, Mochi.
grabe, di ba? Parang yung naging encounter natin sa kanila, we expected that it will be a win from Virtus.pro from last year. Tapos,
Yes.
nawaw ang lahat. Kasi biglang,
Yun nga.
ang nanalo pala is si Execration.
Ay,
Which is
ang
crazy.
grabe. Yes.
Ako
Yun
nga
na nga,
pala.
parang they went toe-to-toe, Mochi, na akala natin VP went all the way. Kasi at that point, marami na nagsasabi na Execration is just another team. Kasi,
Yes.
syempre, last team sila maglalaban-laban, tapos, Evo's Arc pa sila noon. It was leaning towards Evo's. Pero my boys from Execration from Cavite says otherwise. And here we are in another setting point, another revenge play nga bang gagawin yan. Pero, of course, pag-usapan muna natin ang players mula sa Execration. It's time for Folex, Justin, ZYK, MVA, and CBN.
And we have to keep in mind, no, that the Execration, yes, of course, it carries the stories that we have before, but this is a new roster. A new roster that is still quite arguable. Is it better? Is it worse? We're about to find out as our weeks progress further. Especially na I believe they're one of the teams na maagang-maaga na na-announce na, alam mo, ito yung mga pagbabago. Dito na si MVA, dito na si Justin, and so far, it is already up to them to showing kung ano nga ba yung nakuha nila simula nung January until now. And seems like we're starting off in a really good note here with the vibes from our players. And here is a
Of
quick
course.
history because 2-0 against matches pa lang naman ang nakikita natin from them.
And ito na nga, no? Again, matches pa rin nakakalaban nila. And second matchup agad is VP. Looking at the rest of the matches for Execration, it's gonna be paving out pretty well, no? If we talked about veteran na talagang mararamdaman nila yung playthrough all across the board habang tumatagal yung Masters, Execration, matetesting sila dito, but they will be sitting pretty, and with the help of VP pushing them to their limits, talagang babatakin sila dito ngayon sa match number 2 natin. We will see the likes of Folex and as well as CBN to finally be in the spotlight para mapakita nga ba kung fluke nga ba yung last time, or was it really just the extra shot hitting them in the rightful places?
Yes, and I'm really excited, no? Ano nga din yung magiging status nitong mga casters natin kasi I'm pretty sure sobrang excited din sila dito sa ating matchup ngayon, no? And nandae ding mga hot takes din siguro probably down in our comment section maya. And in a bit, I do believe that we will be having quite a fun interview from one of our players here from Execration as well. Pero wait, may naririnig na ako. At ito na nga, it is no other than Paul! Hello, Paul!
Hello po.
Ang funny ng DPD sa Discord, si Buko. Well, shoutout kay Buko, no? Pero na-notice ko lang. Pero
Ano po,
anyways.
number one fan po ako ni Buko pagdating po sa Beyblade.
Pakitaan mo nga, Folex, paano
Beyblade,
humataw
no?
yun?
Grabe
Paano
yung
maghila
music.
yun? Pakitaan mo. Dali mo! Dali mo!
Grabe ka talaga! Grabe! 10 out of 10
Dali.
accuracy. Grabe.
Well, ikaw, I mean, I get you, Folex, nag-post pa yun ng cover photo niya, ganun na ganun, batak na batak yung
Diba?
hila rin ni Buko eh. So,
Omsi.
kahit naman tayo, di ba, matutuwa. So, Folex, it's time for the serious questions. VP ang kalaban nyo, maraming nagsasabi na ang ganda ng pinakita nyo last time na nakalaban nyo sila kasi it was a 2-1 win for you guys. Tapos, ngayon, is it a fluke or is it not? But Folex, ano nga ba ang i-expect natin for the likes of VP? This is a different time, mas nagbatak sila off season, I believe. For you guys, are we ready for another 2-1 nga ba?
Siguro, tingnan na lang natin yung outcome. Kasi kahit kami rin naman, di rin namin alam yung outcome eh. So, siguro abangan na lang natin.
Oh?
Play safe tong si Paul sumagot.
Walang bad blood. Si Boko lang target ni Holex.
Walang banat si Paul ngayon. Pero, Paul, ayan, nakapag-prepare naman kayo specifically against Virtus.pro kasi syempre, malamang sa malamang gusto nyo i-maintain yung kalamangan nyo sa kanila at kung paano sila tinalo last year.
Di naman sila talo last year. Saan nyo nakuha yun? Hindi namin sila natalo last year.
Huh?
What? Huh?
Natalo kami ng EVOS last year. Hindi kami nanalo sa kanila.
Baliktarin mo kasi
Baliktad.
Mochi.
Sorry.
baliktad ba? Oh, sige, isunod natin. Okay. Oh, sige, Paul. Ayan, no. Wala nang preparations. As is lang. For sure na yan.
As is lang.
Kung
ano ginagawa namin, yun na yun.
Sige, as is lang talaga. Sige, thank you so much po sa kakasagot at pakikikulit sabi dito no, sa ating interview. Dahil ilapag na natin dyan lahat ng mga messages natin, mga shoutouts. Sige, go.
Yun. Shoutout sa Execration family and sa Peel Squads. Pati sa mga tropa ko sa Nueva Ecija and sa teammates ko, sa mga boss namin sa labas. And sa girlfriend ko kay Tiffany. And sa mama ko.
Yan.
Kay Buko.
Shoutout din sa number 1 player ko ng Beyblade, si Mark Christian Kagiwa, aka Buko. Team Secret Buko, Vanguard Buko, lahat ng sinalihan
Lahat
yung
ng
team.
buko.
Lahat ng klase ng Buko.
Thank you so
Beyblade.
much.
Beyblade post!
Yun!
Yan!
Thank you so much, Paul. Good luck at
Dali!
sana'y ma-enjoy nyo ang laban nyo.
Thank you.
Diyos ko po, Molex.
Namiss ko yung yung interview natin kay Paul. Gusto ko yung nakasahan siya ngayon, no? Nakasahan siya ngayon, Paul. Grabe, halatang halata.
Alam mo, Mochi, akala ko hindi ako masistress kasi hindi si ZYK yung i-interview natin, pero na-stress ako sa hatak ni Folex dito sa interview natin, but nonetheless it looks like the vibes is still Execration. Hindi sila takot sa laban natin. They just want to see the outcome that they do want to see for up against VP, and mukhang mapapasabak tayo mamaya because we do expect something of a long game.
For sure. Kaya naman ipakilala na natin no other than the one and only Virtus.pro. I mean,
Eto na.
nanggaling tayo sa Arcilia, EVOS, no? Nanggaling tayo sa SCJ, at ngayon, kahit na pinabago yan sila, at sila pa rin ang magkakasama. We have Cetra, Elvid, Kel, Arquez, and as well as itong si Yobel, na kung saan parang ganun pa rin, no? Mas pina-upgrade lang.
Yeah, I mean, it's VP at the end of the day na parang struggling a little bit dun sa ating mga first few matches, but it's still VP nonetheless na will give you some fight and will give you some aura farming talagang, inaantapas kasi, pero they're ready. That is what a VP will be giving us, especially with 0-2 giving up a lot of comments already na handa players ko. Kaya namin to, excel lang yan. And again, the goal is quite clear for VP. Number 1 spot ang patutunguhan yan. And look at that stat line, Mochi. Papunta na nga sila doon with their first comfortable wins up against FV and as well as itong QD.
At kung malinis pa man din ang ating estado dito, no? Yes, oo, nagkakaroon ng mga moments na nadadapa sila at merong napapamigay ng mga mapa, pero sila pa din ang nagtatapos. And we are yet to see, no, if that would be the same issue here for Execration. Would it be a 2-0? Would it be a 1-2? Lot of possibilities here by Polar, in all honesty, pero kasi parang medyo mahirap talaga patumbahin pagka ganito yung kalibreng katapat mo.
Yun na nga, I mean, VP will be ready all throughout, not just for Stallions, not just for any kind of team, but for the rest of Southeast Asia and for the likes of Execration. At dahil dyan, we are gonna be ready for even more kasi mukhang mapapalit trip na naman tayo, Mochi, towards another play na kakausapin na.
Totoo, no? Kasi kung kanina si Paul ang in-interview natin ngayon, ang kanilang El Capitan naman ang ating harapin
Yo.
dito. No other than itong si Boss
Hello po.
KLR. Ayan, hello.
Let's go.
Kumusta naman, KLR? Mukhang another day
okay
for
naman.
you. Agad kay Virtus
Oo, hindi naman turog.
Yan! Woo! Let's go, Kelar! Let's go, Kelar! Kelar, you know what? In a serious note, no, palagi nating nakikita na yung star players muna si Yobim and etc. going in. Pero I'd like to give commendation muna to you kasi every time that you are in the game, hindi lang naman pagiging shot caller yung ginagawa mo, kundi fragger ka rin nonetheless. No? So yan ang I-expect natin for this matchup up against Execration. This time though, with Execration getting ready, may integration na rin tayo ng mga bagong players na veteran status din naman. Ano sa tingin mo? Is it the same kind of Execration na mandudurog nyo lang or yung Execration na mas preparado kayo lalo?
Tingin ko mas preparado kami lalo kasi nung mga first and second match namin is talaga nag-experiment lang kami. Ito ngayon siguro wala kaming dapat paghandaan.
Okay.
That actually makes a lot of sense, no? From the experimentation na
Tsaka
meron
yung
nga.
palabot dun pala sa killer ko, sinabihan ko silang wag pumatay, ako na muna bahala. Kaya ko naman yung mga yun.
I told you. Sabi ko sa inyo, si KLR ang number 1 ko pag BP. Yan ang gusto ko makita.
Grabe talaga, no? Ang dami nga, parang ngayon lang natin nagkakaroon ng connection yung mga iniisip natin. Bakit kaya may mga ganong mga moments from before? Ngayon, ang make sense, kinonfirm na ni KLR sa harapan nyo. So, KLR, ano ang mensahe natin sa katapat nyo? Sige.
Alam ko naman na naghirap din kayo, nag-practice kayo ng matindi. So, tignan lang natin. Alam ko naman malakas kayo kaso kami kalaban nyo Tignan lang natin.
Woo! Spicy, baby! Yan ang gusto ko.
Spicy talaga. Maraming salamat kay RC again. Nabigyan mo ng mensahe ang inyong mga katapat. Mensahe para sa lahat ng gusto nyong i-shoutout.
Sa Execration, have fun sa atin parehas. Sana bigyan natin sila ng magandang laban. At sa mga pamilya ng kakampi ko, lahat na nandito sa bootcamp, shoutout sa inyo. Maraming salamat sa support. Gandi sa Pansat, sa Basher, maraming salamat sa inyo. Lalo sa mga casters. Thank you.
Thank you, KLR. Good luck, brother.
Thank you, KLR. Good luck at galingan nyo. Sana tumama lahat ng mga bala nyo, no? Mukhang sobrang init pa man din ng araw nyo ngayon.
Mainit. Bagong kulo.
Agong kulo daw. Thank you so much, KLR. Grabe, bipolar. Ako lang, pero sobrang excited ako dito, no? Nakikita ko din yung mga casters natin dito, nagsistretching na because this is gonna be quite of a long series ahead of us as we expect.
Eto nga kasi Mochi, if people are gonna be waiting for that VP versus Stallions matchup, nako po, hindi lang naman yan ang inaabangan ng sambayan ng Pilipinas and the rest of Southeast Asia, no? It's also VP versus Execration. Kasi it's two teams that are cocky, two teams that are very much in your face, and two teams that have been proving well. So, ano yun? It's just so nice to see na may kita natin yan. Pero mukhang iba pala may kita natin dito.
Yeah, iba nga nakikita natin dito, no? Kasi itong kasama ko, sabi niya, Execration 2-1. Interesting! While the rest of us, no, for me, Ramon, and as well as kay Sneaky Frog, mas pabor kami kay Virtus.pro. Bakit, Bipolar? Bakit ka nag 2-1 Execration?
I mean, I love Execration to the heart, pero kasi going into the game, VP, still experimenting. I feel like even here, lalabas dito experimentation nila. So, may leeway ang Execration to still get up a fight. But, VP02 and the rest of the team of Virtus.pro, alam kong kaya nyo to. But, kahagat muna ako for now with my fanboying towards Execration. No? So, 2-1, not gonna be an easy game for Execration, pero kaya For VP to, if they are done experimenting, it's time for a ball game na kailangan paghandaan din ng Execration. So, yeah. I mean, gets ko naman ba't kayo nag-2-1.
Alright. We have an Execration believer here, no? Matutuwa sa'yo itong sila po. Pero let us check out itong ating map dito. Kasi, syempre, dito na magkakaalaman sino nga bang masangat, sinong mas mag-struggle. We have Angkara being chosen here by Execration. At sinamahan pa ng port here for Virtus.pro, and our decider will be New Compound. Wala tayong makikitang Black Widow, walang Eagle Eye, which is quite new to us, to say the least.
Ito na nga, may kita mo talaga na hindi na talaga nag-experiment yung Virtus.pro. And he rightfully did it. Unang bans pa lang, binan agad yung sub-base Mochi. I was expecting na lalabas dito yung sub-base for both of these teams kasi wala namang Cebuano dito. Wala namang anything out of the blue. Why not go in a place na dalawa kayong na a team that is very much not knowing paano maglaro yung sub-base. Execration might not prevail. Pero sinilabas nga dito yung port Mochi for Virtus.pro kung saan they've been experimenting. Hindi natin nakikita last time yung Yobib KSA combination sa may B-set kapag GR side sila. So this time, we have to look out for that later on. Ankara, same set of things lang naman yan. CBN will be fighting all throughout dito sa may mid. But for the decider, new compound, oohoo! Di lang tayo magre-ready mochi sa game number 3 pero magre-ready din tayo for a overtime sa isang game.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm really excited for us. Not to mention na sobrang underrated ng performance ni MVA so far, no? Sobrang tindi nyo din
Yeah.
mag-frag. Kaya naman, ibato na natin to sa ating mga casters! Sneaky Frog and Ramon, light up the stage!
And it's finally time para sa isang tagisan kung saan mapapataas ka na lang ng parehong kamay at mapapasabi na lang ng absolute cinema no? Ang Execration versus Virtus.pro, possible matchup of the week nga naman no? Ang kontrabida ng SCA Masters laban sa bagong edisyon ng Execration na may onting flavor ng Macta nga naman no? Ramon at Sneaky Frog nga pala para maghatid ng action. Sneaky, I've seen your reactions not only on the map dito pero as well as yung naging sagot nga naman ni Kel R kanina sa interview natin. Ano ba yung mga masabi natin sa matchup na ito, pare?
I kinda had an inkling na at least theory sa utak ko, no, na yung Virtus.pro, the reason why they did go 3 maps para sa first na dalawang series nila, and I wouldn't be surprised, no, if this is the same case as well dito sa Execration, is I think they're trying to prolong yung mga games nila dito sa loob ng group stage so they can test out more stuff in actual competition, no, hindi yung iba kasi talaga yung pakiramdam sa scrims. Obviously there's nothing at stake at you know, there's no incentivized, walang nag-i-incentivize para sa baka team natin to really pull out their real plays. So I think VP obviously using yung recognizing yung kanilang strength dito sa tournament natin, obviously playing the long game, no, which, you know, we kind of know VP for dito sa tournament natin. They always love to play the long game when it comes to Masters, Regionals at kahit anong ibang tournament natin. So could be of benefit para sa kanila dito. But this is the first time na makakita tayo ng higher table na labanan na pwede nga natin sabihin, you know, Virtus.pro and itong Execration. Execration obviously, I think slightly better na sila going into this year. I think one of the biggest problems dito sa last exit team is there was too many ideas flying around dito sa team na to, and I feel like there wasn't or the system wasn't really fully established para dito kay ZYK. Pero ngayon, he now has 4 good soldiers dito sa kanyang team, pare. Obviously na kakilala nila dito sa mga dating teams. So there's existing synergy para dito sa Execration. Pero yun nga, that's the problem with synergy dito. Virtus.pro, they've been together for the longest time. Yung bago nilang addition na si Zetra, kinda feels like he's been around for a while para sa kanila, pare. And I feel like in terms of team play and teamwork in general, Virtus.pro talaga yung magiging superior pagdating doon, pare.
For sure, pre. I mean, kumbaga parang sa pareho nating teams, may sila rin silang story or kumbaga state in mind nga naman where they had recent roster changes na mukha namang plug and play so far nga naman. Malaki yung sample size na makikita natin for this Virtus.pro roster kasi this roster has been together since last year nga naman with the addition of Cetra, and he's been performing at a top level na instantly elevated him as one of our primary snipers kung pinag-uusapan natin kung sino talaga yung mataas in terms of that role. Pero para naman sa Execration, while sabihin nga naman natin na bagong roster nga naman nito, this is still the kind of core na para masabi nating familiarized na si ZYK nakapag-call around, diba? So, it's kind of like a plug and play nga naman for them. Pero, syempre, bagong banner, bagong fraggers, at bago nga naman ang sistema sa 2026. As we head on into the same old Ankara para naman sa map pick ng Virtus.pro. Pasok na agad all the way towards that tunnels B. Habang ang BL side naman ng Execration, tamang hold namang sa mga extremities natin.
Yeah, I think tama naman yung naging desisyon dito ng Exe pagdating sa kanilang roster changes. I think yung goal nila for this current iteration was to kind of put the pressure off dito kay CBN at kay Folex. I feel like they hold a lot of responsibility dito sa Exe team na to from that prior year. And with this new roster, I feel like there's a lot to, you know, pwede pang may ma-fall back dito. Basically, insurance para sa dalawang star players natin for the side of Execration. So we now enter itong laruan natin. It is a bit quiet sa simula ng ating game, and that is just classic Execration and Virtus.pro just kind of poking and prodding around dito sa mapa natin na naghahanap ng information. Pero si Zetra na naman, once again, foraying itong TB natin, pero hindi niya makikita si CBN as he escapes back in towards LA. So looking likely like an A set pero malayo yung mga VP players.
Yep. Ito lahat as well doon pa lang sa may EA, kaya ang Execration ay preparing their nades into a double stack into KSA and Elvin on towards that A site. At sumama pa nga ng layer may Cetra. Baka magiging okay in depensa, pero Elvin, KSA, good shots through from the defense. CBN with the entry. Dito pa rin si Cetra, so they kind of have a decent setup. Doon lang sa may top A position. KSA spotted. Hindi sila makapasok.
Yeah. ZYK, good flick galing sa kanya. Namatay na nga si Cetra dito. KLR, nasa top 8 pa. Mapapatay na nga ang El Capitan dito ng Execration. Pero makikita rin si CBN na nakapatong dito sa box. Justin will get KLR. Yobib versus Justin. A tale as old as time dito sa CFS. Pero mananalo dito si Justin this time. A good spray gamit ang kanyang EBR, winning Execration a key 1v1 para makakuha sila ng puntos sa laro.
Oh, parang hindi pang kanaraniwan na nakikita natin na mag-whiff si Yobib on that EBR, but definitely on a weapon like that, you kind of want to keep their aim adjusted. As pagpasok nila dun sa site, they had no insurance na makikita nila yung mga nasa top A. Cetra controlling that CA. Good's a good quick dito pa lang kay MVA, so 24v5. VP with that pick, talagang pamabalik lamang on their passive positions. Justin gets a nice trade laban dito kay Cetra though.
Yeah, it's a good 1-for-1. Cetra, masyadong matagal na tinambay dito yung CA. I think I would be satisfied with him just backing off all the way pabalik ng HM natin to cover a lot more ground with his sniper. But the temptation always kay Cetra to always get the second pick is always around the corner. Pero maganda na nawalan ng buhay dito si MVA dito sa may minitor natin. That means hindi alam ng Execration na pwedeng may mag-flank galing sa side ng VP. But that is not how VP operates, no? As soon as may makita silang contact na nasa loob ng B site, they will just attempt to delay as much as possible. Pero si Kellar gusto marap sa buong angkan dito ng Execration. Kellar with the first kill, but in an instant trade galing kay Fall X, and they will investigate the rest of TB. And it's a good find para kay CBN. And a 2 versus 3. Low dito si Fall X. But Execration numbers on their side. Virtus.pro, one good shot can turn the round around, pare.
Yeah, considering the players that they also have, no? Very precise KSA as well as Elvin, who gambling doon pa lang sa may TB push na ginawa niya dito. ZYK spots him out. At iniwan pa nga dito. Yan para malabanan yung tatlo dito sa mga players natin on Execration. Low in HP yung dalawa, pero timer running down. Nagpakita na si KSA, patay pa nga si CBN. Paul X also taken down by ZYK. Mabilis ang sagot. At kinuha yung 2 rounds for Execration. VP on the back foot.
Yeah, and gusto ko dito sa Execration, di na sila nagsasayang ng mga bomb plant nila, pare. I feel like they're now more looking to play around the C4 compared to before where yung delay nila was just pushing all the extremities nga ng ating A side and or B. So it's good discipline for their side, and a drop shot galing dito kay Paul X. Kitang-kita si Kellar sa loob ng smoke. And A side delikado para dito sa VP. Pero Execration also expecting a reaction galing sa mga second mid player. CBN, you better get a headshot, and that he does. Pero si Yobib makakabalik ng isa. I think CBN wanted one more in that situation, pero maganda na rin to para sa Exe. It's a 4 versus 3.
Yeah, it's kind of like they didn't really gamble on taking yung A site, no? Pakatapos sa papatay dito si KLR through the smoke on EA. Kasi baka alam nila na marami pa lang nakatao doon. Tabigin nila yung puntos sa kanila, but Execration just playing this very slowly. Even catching the pick onto CBN, who actually did well para mapatay nga lamang. Nasa second bid natin, so VP down numbers, Hotel also in position from them. It's good na binigay nila yung may B site dito in hopes of getting a pick from either Yobib or doon sa pagpasok on A. But instead is giving Execration an open B plant na pwede nilang paglaruan as well on the post plant later on, as they already get themselves in B site space, and the C4 is gonna get planted in just a short while, Sneaky.
Yeah, I think mas importante para dito sa VP kaysa yung site is to really keep RS control, makuha pa rin nila yung high mid control, and yung objective ngayon is to get that hotel control, no? Pero si Justin and si ZYK naka-double hold dito sa kanilang likod. So Execration recognizing na pwede maging delikado itong second mid. ZYK will not turn around in time para makita dito si Yobe, pero andito naman ang insurance ng Execration. Justin right around the corner, gets the spray down dito kay Yobe. Elvin at Zetra na lang natitira. Zetra can do some numbers with this sniper, but in 10 seconds, masyado na yatang onti ang oras para pupasok ulit ang VP. Virtus.pro, 3 points down dito sa laruan natin, pare.
Yeah, they took a little bit of time before they actually decided na hindi na lang either push na lang sila sa RS or they're just gonna hold back and play for that post plant, no? And what ended up happening was they're giving up those minuscule moments para makapag-push agad si Yobe. But despite that good flank na ginawa nga naman ng young gun natin on VP, Execration were able to stabilize themselves on the post plant, taking care of Yobib dahil nga naman sa second layer na nakuha nila on the flank watch, as well as winning out the fights sa dalawa na nakalabas lamang on that RS position. So, Execration with a 3-0 score so far. And VP, they're losing out on the early engagements. And hindi natin, no? Parang sa retakes pa lang ay sumasapat pa ZYK. Fighting up against Yobib, and the uncle wins in return, pare.
Yun nga, and that's kind of the role ni ZYK, no? Bilang yung sniper IGL ng team na to. He is gonna go on forward, look for these aggressive angles, and kind of keep VP on their toes 24/7. Man, wala talagang corner na hindi ipipeak dito ni ZYK. Especially with how good he is on that TRG. Si Kellar, mahuli ka nga dito sa B-side natin. RS ang upuan dito ni Zetra, pero si Elvin paparating na nga para tulungan pa dyan sniper, pero KSA, can they make it into the site in time? Good gap para kay Zetra. Good flick. Papunta kay MBA. Zetra gusto niya i-take over itong second mid, which I really would recommend. Kailangan na nila ng hotel control unless Zetra gets another pick off inside of the site. Pero meron na nakarating galing sa Execration. They can finally confirm yung bomb plant and 38 seconds on the clock para maka-retake dito ang VP.
They don't have the numbers, but they can actually gamble with a double flank to TB, especially with Zetra hitting that shot. So, mas mapapadali yung double flank na gagawin ni KSA. He gets the shot kay CBN. And definitely, the retake is coming para sa Virtus.pro. Justin locked out. At si Folex na lang natitira. Paul, anong magagawa mo? Daming mga players ng VP. Lumalapit lang sa position niya. Spotted. And Elvin closes in on him. Folex with the kill. And a lot of time after mapatay ni Elvin si Paul. Another round para sa mga players on VP.
Medyo nakabog yata dito yung VP nung na-pick itong isang player na pa-cross na nga paloob ng site, and they immediately pause. Bigla na lang sila natakot na, okay, Zetra might be in this corner and might catch us in this situation. Pero si ZYK, how do you solve the Zetra problem? You just kill him at the start of the round and operate a 4v5. And ito nga, ZYK is doing a pretty nice job just denying itong si Zetra yung mga early openings namin.
Yeah, But the ZYK being doing really well sa mga early engagements nga nila. Just purely expecting the early picks, not only doon sa naging akyatan, pero all the way back in towards high mid as well. So it's almost like ZYK is in their heads ngayon, eh, no? VP not getting an opportunity to get the early pick. You go back to the rounds nung nag-pick si KLR dun sa EA at yung mga early timing si ZYK. Kakaroon ng magandang pundasyon ng Execration. They have Vents in control and they're also setting up that A-set execute.
Ash is gonna go through. Hindi na po nagkita si Elvin, and Elvin doesn't spot si Justin. Na halos katabi niya na nga. Paul X nakita na si KSA. And that is top A basically cleared out para sa Execration. I think they're starting to get yung rhythm, no, ng laruan dito ng VP, where they just send si Zetra dito sa may midside or dito sa A. Maybe you find a guy, maybe you find two. Speaking of finding two, hold on. Let's keep that conversation short para dito sa VP na nakakuha ng dalawa dito sa kanilang retake. Pero spamming the smoke, spamming the nades. Maybe they can make it to the side. MBA is down! Pero ZYK making sure that Execration doesn't do the most Execration thing ever, which is lose a 5 versus 2 retake. And it's a timeout para dito sa VP.
Yeah. And I like how you pointed that out din, di ba? Where last year, nung PH Masters, the word na lagi nating binabato sa isang Execration is either firepower or potential. Pero what really sets them away from actually reaching their ceiling is yung tendency nga naman nila na maging over-aggressive in the worst possible timing. So, if you place Execration in a system naman na puro mga veterano, yung mga naglalaro ngayon, tapos yung mga players na kilala yung isa't isa in terms of timings, in terms of how to trade them, di ba? Nawawala yung aggressiveness na masyado na nagiging over sa mga sitwasyon na ganun. Post-plant, at lalong alam mo kung paano magre-react sa mga ganong sitwasyon kung nagkamali nga sila, diba? So, good on ZYK to actually pick up those pieces even if it all took was a really good spray down para sa kanya. Pero, kumbaga parang di rin nawala yung identity na yun, eh, no? Aggressive pa rin ng Execration, pero alam din nila kung kailan magbaback off.
I think this is also big credit, no? Kaya nilagay ko si NBA dito sa most underrated list natin. Granted, he's been frying, no, ever since last week, pare. Pero nilagay ko siya sa underrated because one of the most underrated things about NBA, and nakita niyo yun dun sa timeout, dun sa mga cams natin, is ZYK can turn his head and say, is this strat good? Kasi familiar naman dito si NBA pagdating sa sistema ng MACTA. And MACTA, I wouldn't say this is still the MACTA system. I feel like itong ZYK system is kind of been tweaked. It's a lot more aggressive para maka-adjust sila para dito kay Cloyd at kay Paul. And I feel like, you know, having that second opinion dun sa team mo na yun, especially when you have ZYK as your IGL, especially when you have ZYK as your IGL, the man who will throw out any crazy idea and the team will do it. I think it's a good thing na nandun si NBA to say, okay, that strat might be a bit too crazy. Maybe pwede natin gawin to instead.
Totoo. Somebody to challenge your call or possibly to get some critical thinking going. So, syempre, no? 4-2 na tayo ngayon. Good start so far para sa Execration. Buti na lang okay na yung time-out na nilabas nga naman ng VP this time as this take it up sa replay. Aggressive naman. Nakita natin from their post plant, but good thing ZYK had their backs para ma-stabilize pa rin na into a 4-1. LA now controlled by Fall X as Execration are looking to run it back. Balik agad sa A. Pero instead of 2 people lang, 3 nakabantay dito for Virtus.pro.
Kita yung tuhod ni KSA. Might wanna back up galing dito sa Vents, pero yun yata yung game plan dito ng VP is to bait in the Execration members. Walang tumingin sa direksyon ni KSA. The flash was there, the shots weren't, pero si CBN gusto bumawi sa side. CYK gets Yobib on the top A side. Double entry para kay CBN, pero di pa tapos ang labanan. 2 headshots will not be the cause of this win. You're gonna have to get 2 more, buddy. Exit occupied dito ni KLR and Zetra all the way on the backside. Virtus.pro were attempting to get a mid-trap going or at least force overpeaks galing dito sa mga exit players natin. But here comes CBN on the right side. Nakita si Zetra. That's another headshot para kay CBN and he accepts my challenge. You need 4 headshots to win this one and that he did.
4K para kay CBN where it was all done when it was a 2v4 para sa kanila. Pero you fall upon the young firepower duo Fall X and CBN. At si Cloyd pa nga yung yung tagumpay sa kanilang lahat despite having low HP. His HK just sealed the round right through and there. Nakapasok sa kaliwa at napatay pa yung nakalabas sa exit. And clearly, CBN is a talent that is tapping into his potential and taking it to VP who really thought that it was gonna be a shutdown deal nung na-secure nila yung mga taong pumapasok pa lamang dun sa top A in an instant time. 5-1 Execration back on their BS play passive. Leave MBA dun pa lang sa may events. At least they have a little bit of insurance dun sa may LA position natin. As VP, the reaction this time is to just have 3 players again on top A. Habang may hotel, habang may nakatingin dun sa high mid.
Judging from yung body language ng mga players natin on Execration, I think they were kind of prepping na magpupush dito yung VP sa mid or maybe dito sa may LA side kasi medyo kalat yung kanilang galawan dito. But it's already good. Nakuha sila ng early CA control, possibly some lineups ang pwede mo makuha doon, pero meron pang Zetra na nakabantay dito sa may RS natin and I would want to see yung double offset or double TRG setup dito sa B-side especially kasi nakukuha mo yung range para sa HM at nakukuha mo rin yung one-shot potential para sa TB. Pero hindi natin makikita yun. Of course, it will be rifles across the board para dito sa Virtus.pro. KLR, EBR ang kanyang hawak dito. Patalon pataas, headshot dito kay Folex. Pero hindi pa nakakadaan ng Exe. Wala pang cross from any of the players. Justin, nakitang may hawak na bato at hindi na nabitawan. KLR will get that kill. Pero babawi naman si NBA from the high mid-side. Elvin, good find on the backside player. Zetra getting CB in at si ZYK na lang natitira. What can the vet do? Zetra spotted! What a shot! Galing kay Aljo, hindi pa sa tapos. Dito sa labanan natin, Elvin, delikado. ZYK pumapatay, 4 seconds to plant, plenty of time para sa kanya. Pero si KSA palapit na nga. USP, not gonna be enough. The EBR prevails. And an almost para dito kay Aljo and VP. They breathe easy na napanalo nila yung round na yun, pare.
In an instant, ZYK turned into YZK, man. Taking everybody from VP on notice with 4 kills na sana, pero KSA just had the position in time. USP out para kay ZYK ng time na yon, and it would have had actually the time na sana. Oo, tama, pero when you just run and gun and down with just that M14, wala na talaga magagawa in that position itself, no? And you kind of cannot even hindi mo din mabibigyan ng fault yung VP sa kung paano na in-approach yung 4v1 na yun eh. Kasi nakita na lang yung isa doon from the hotel and they could just double.
That's true. They could double up dito sa hotel, brother. Pero yun nga. Action dito sa mapa natin. Execration. Ng ating LA. And itong si KSA, nakabantay lang dito sa top A. So it's an El Clasico 2-1-2 between yung dalawang teams natin. And I think Execration, just looking for the exact same stuff dito sa mapa. Any outliers para dito sa VP, maybe a bit push ka lang kay Zetra or kay Yobib. Pero wala pa naman nagtutulak na paharap para dito sa VP. They are looking for any peekers on their side of the map. At pauuna na yata si Fall X papunta dito sa TB. Yobib with the El Clasico M4. Does get the spray. Doesn't get the second one just yet, Justin. Ay na mag-fully commit dito sa angulo natin, pero makakadalawa si Yobib, but the USP finally prevails para dito kay ZYK, who gets Keller as well gamit ang kanyang TRG. 3 versus 3. And Execration created a very good situation dito sa mapa natin. 2 killed dito sa TB and can confirm na most likely sa RS na lang maglalaro yung last B player para mas dikit siya dito sa kanyang kakampi. So a cross will be incoming. Taking stock ng dalawang teams natin. Buhay pa si ZYK, MBA, and CBN. And on the other side, meron pa ring sniper. There you go. Elvin. Getting itong si MBA, ZYK, CBN. Last 2 left alive para dito sa retake natin. And KSA, gusto kumuha dito ng TB. CBN right around the corner. Nag-aantay lang dito. So, kuyawin natin. Pero, kaya na bang mapanalo ang napakalaking prize ng dalawang headshot na nasa kanyang harap. 10 seconds left and there's the headshot CQC para kay CBN. Pero pati si Zetra mahuhulog na. 5 seconds left. No time to defuse. 3 seconds. KSA makakapatay na lang pero hindi na makaka-defuse. Execration. 6 point on the board para sa kanila, and right before the half turns, Execration fully controlling itong Ankara map natin. B-site fights going their way. Medyo na-bait yung mga TB players, but I really like how the rotation went para dito sa mga Exe players natin. And we are gonna hopefully see a lot more. May kumakatok pa, pre? Wala. Kala ko may certain na Kurt eh. May certain na Kurt na nandito para. Pero, take a look at the instant replay natin. Yobib, obviously, very good double kill to start things off. Pero ang ganda ng recovery ng Exe dito. Really good finds galing kay ZYK. And really good discipline para sa mga Exe players natin. Not really overreaching dito sa B-side. CBN obviously playing a very tough angle. Pero pag may hawak ka naman ng HK and you can kind of parse the fights, yeah, it becomes a whole lot easier para sa kanila. So 6-2. Virtus.pro Once again, two-man defense dito sa A site. And Execration, they want to go a lot quicker. And purely contact dito sa loob ng A site. And it's the best read that you can ask for para sa last round ng kanilang BL side. Both players in vents. All contact para sa Exe. They have all the nades that they need para maibaba yung C4 na to. Pero Virtus.pro gustong umikot galing sa CA pero may nakabantay na CBN. Dito sa vents, will start to harass yung mga CA players natin. 35. And all this delay towards the A side. What else can you do kung kayo yung Virtus.pro? Spray down galing kay Yobib. Nakita na nga si ZYK. Pero piso na rin sa dito. This retake is looking more and more unlikely unless makakuha ng miracle pick dito si Zetra. NBA spray down all towards the EA players. Kellar down. Yobib down. Zetra na lang. And the sniper. You might be insane with the sniper pare pero up against 4 players. It could be really, really tough. Pero teka lang, maybe he won't defuse, but at least he'll kill 4. Zetra sending a message before the half turns. We may be down 5, pero mainit pa naman yung sniper at yung cold ko dito. Ramon, pulse check pare, are you back?
I think I'm back. Hello, hello, hello. Testing 1, 2, 3. Execration. Definitely stealing the hearts away from VP in a lot of the rounds that we had in that first half. Pero kung magbawi yung hinahanap lang nila dito, Cetra just pulled it out just like that. What a way to welcome us back into the second half. And parang welcome back lang ulit sa akin eh. No? Mukhang pumitik bigla yung kuryente. At pumipitik bigla, no? Execration sa buong first half natin, man. I mean, ang init na nakita natin from the core of the old Macta. This is a ZYK that is performing a masterclass with how well he is moving his pieces around. Parang chess match lang, pero parang Smurf yung kalaban bigla ng Virtus.pro, pare.
Yun nga. I don't know man, something's cursed pag ako yata yung co-caster pare. Yun nga, Josh was having his difficulties. He's turning into yung Walden files pare. Ikaw? I don't know, someone EMP'd your house pare. So, I don't know, maybe Polar could be up next dito sa next casting natin. Baka kung ano-ano yung makikita natin on inside. Pero back to the ball game na nga tayo dito pare. 2-7 ang ating laruan. Execration with a hell of a lead. Pagpasok nila ng GR side. BP naman yung naghahabol. Pero the BP offense could work pagdating dito sa Ankara. Granted, hindi ito yung preferred side nila, no? Pero I've seen them pull off some really good comebacks dito sa mapa na to.
For sure, pre. Especially on the Ankara map na sabihin na nga natin, no? Hindi din ito yung naging map pick ng VP this time. Pero Ankara's not really comfortable side for Execration back then. Pero ngayon, syempre, ibang flavor ng VP na ito. At ibang Execration na nakikita natin ngayon. GR side na para sa kanila. MVA with a lot of spam damage dahil nga naman sa naging proactivity na nakita nyo on that A site. Mga may spam galing through from the smoke. Push on CA, mukhang ready na ata for a possible rotation. Pupunta dun sa either high mid or maybe a gamble back in towards that tunnel B setup. But still, the amount of time that they have, may stable defense pa rin naman ang Execration. You put both MVA and Fall X to kind of hold down that fort for themselves. But you don't really feel like VP is gonna go A anyway, no? Especially with the set pieces that they have. Ang dami nakatao lamang na pwedeng labanan yung hotel player na si CBN.
Ooh, pero KSA will be checked dito sa may CA side natin. And this is the early checks para sa Execration just to see kung nasaan yung VP sa mapa natin. And CBN and Folex got information at the same time. So feeling ko they can kind of roughly estimate kung saan papunta tong VP. Obviously spotted ka na sa B, spotted ka na sa mid. Yun nga, what's the equation? Either HM push towards yung A side natin. They're gonna try to cancel itong RS. Or it will be maybe TB. Pero depende na lang kung makuha nila si CBN dito. CBN! That's not actually CBN. That's ZYK fully on peeking dito sa may mid-side. I was expecting Cloyd to do the checking. Pero si ZYK medyo nagtapang sa may mid-side. KSA is low pero VP still in a bad situation kung di nga nila malagpasan itong si Folex. NBA Justin, 3-man strong on the A site pero na-check dito si NBA. Wala nang oras itong VP para pumasok na site. 5 seconds para mag-plant. Aabot pa ba? Aabot pa nga para dito sa Virtus.pro. And the last second execute catches Execration off guard. Folex magagaling pa nga dito sa likod. Pero spotted na nga yata siya sa kanyang sitwasyon. Zetra, eyes trained on vents, and EAD na siya makakadaan dito, pare.
No absolute way. Is Volex gonna be left in that 1v4? He does on one, gets the second. Volex almost with a hero moment. Yun nga lang, Elvin will catch off Volex in a very awkward timing. An awkward timing nonetheless, no? Tagal-tagal na nasa vents. Hindi niya kahit sino makita. Nakapasok na ang VP sa loob lamang ng site with just 10 seconds. They were able to plant that C4 down. They took the head off of MVA. And Cetra doing wonders now on the sniper. Medyo napatahimik siya dalian on that first half. Pero ngayon lumiliyab lalo ang server dahil sa Arctic niya. That's a 2K for Cetra. Ipagbawi from ZWK on the other side. But in the end, the VP still have the numbers. Pero Execration looks like they're gonna play for LA right now.
Yun nga. Si Cetra, after that first shot, kumasa siya in real life. He knows what kind of mode he is right now, pare. Umiinit na nga ang sniper ng VP. Pero ASA, nakita na nga. YK and Justin, CBN, they just decide to fight itong si Cetra, which is a horrible idea considering hawak na dito ang Miniter. And Virtus.pro, ito yung sinasabi ko, man. That's why I wasn't around. Di ko pa sinasabi na baka tapos na yung labanan na to, but maybe it's finished and all that stuff. Because I know Virtus.pro is very capable, especially pagdating dito sa second half. And it could keep going. Cetra dropping on towards Paul X, MBA. On the right side, di na siya makakadaan dito. It is a battlefield dito sa may LA side natin. ZYK gusto pa mag-repeat galing sa EA, but look at the read galing kay Cetra. He knows the rotations even. And grabe yung VP. I feel like VP might have watched the show Punisher, no? If you know that one episode that he was talking about cortisol, man. You make your opponents panic, they start shaking, and they use all the time in the world, even at the very last second, pare, para magpanic itong Exe, and VP are doing exactly that.
Yeah. Panic rotation as on your screen right now. Dinarami-rami ng mga players natin on Execration to double layer up yung mga B defense nila. Possibly working in towards their benefit kung hindi sila aalis. Pero I guess the adaptation into that triple RS na pwede nilang depensahan is gonna be something that Execration could work with against, pero instead they're just gonna leave ZYK na ngayon. Cetra 1v1 up against him, gets the shot in. ZYK repeaks in time, alam niyang nasa gilid lang si Yobib, pero si KSA pa ang tatanggal sa ulo ni ZYK ngayon. They can just run back in towards that B site and force Execration to play rotate 3v4.
Ayun nga, I think kasi yata hindi na yung Aljon yung pangalawang player dito sa may HM, no? Nakita niya na si Yopib actually crossing within frame, and I like what VP is doing. Di pa sila napaplant dito, keeping their option open, and Justin will go for an early peek, and kitang-kita na nga dito yung C4 ng Virtus.pro. They were preserving time, but maybe taking too much time sa pagplant ng C4. KSA, Kellar na lang natitira, and outside of their means dito sa B-side, hindi lang nila kailangan mag-plant, kailangan din nila patayin lahat ng players dito. MBA getting caught. Justin as well, galing dito sa 2F. CBN na lang spotted dito sa may baterya natin. CBN has to go for the hotel player first. Kellar going in. Heads up for CBN, pero si Kellar nakaakyat na mabilisan. And Virtus.pro, with the tightest of means dito sa mapa natin, are now 5 and 7. Shooting distance na sila dito ng Exe.
Man, napaku sa 7 ang Execration. VP are working wonders around them on the macro game. Forcing out that rotation to exit kanina for Execration. Giving an open B pakatapos patayin yung nasa RS lamang. Which is the only player that they had doon. They could just place yung player na yun for themselves. KSA being a big threat pagdating sa laruan nila on that post plant. Simula lang, Cetra. You know, he dies onto ZYK. The fact that he's single-handedly controlling LA with just a shot. It's beautiful to see, no? So difficult for them to work their numbers around. Living on an open lifeline para sa VP ngayon, who, as you mentioned, not touching distance na ngayon from being down 5 rounds. Execration have given up so many onto VP that they are definitely contesting this idea na makuha pa nga ng comeback ngayon. Because they now have 2 people on CA. Execration that are heavily stacked up on A, no? Dalawa na nakatao lamang sa ilalim top A setup natin. VP gonna take this very, very calmly sa pagpasok dun sa bench position natin.
Yeah, I think kung wala kayong mahanap na information sa mapa, why not go back to the old reliable, which is itong A-execute dito sa Ankara map natin. Pero si Kellar mukhang mag-iingay muna sa kabilang side ng mapa. And this is actually gonna test itong wits ng Exe, no? Kung marirecognize nila na fake lang to galing kay Kellar or fake lang to galing kay Elvin. But also, VP could also confuse itong Exe by actually sending Elvin in first and itong si Kellar na lalabas bigla sa B-side. A delayed push would be genius here para dito sa Virtus.pro. So here comes the lineups para sa B-side. Para lang makadaan itong si Kellar at walang nakapansin sa captain na nakapasok na nga dito sa high mid. Nakalabas ang granada ni ZYK. Pero A-side pa lang gusto nilang kunin pero hindi naloko ang Execration. They are still here but they are now dead on the A-side. Follex nasa top A. Pinarel ng USP. Follex denying yung site sana pero si Yobib niratrat niya ng USP. Ang top A player, CBN. Let's see what the headshot player of the year can do. But it seems like even a spray down can stop CBN right now, pare. 6 and 7. Pero walang meme sa ginagawa dito ng VP.
Serious business lang ang nakikita natin ngayon for Virtus.pro. From 2 to 7. They're back to just a 1-point game. Off of just good macro game coming through. Lots of credit to the IGL as well as 402. They have heavily showed this up at a moment's notice na kailangan nilang i-fake out yung Execration. Not to have any sort of like downplay sa kung ano yung meron sa firepower na laban dito sa Execration. You know? Kaya nilang may pagsabayan pagkalaban nila on the duels itself. But when you surround your opponent with just fake nades like that, tapos namanduhan na lang nila yung pag-push nila on the way towards that A site, then yung RS na meron silang foothold dahil nga naman dun sa position ni MVA, it's gonna be left in trouble para sa Execration. Nauubusan na yung options, nauubusan na ng oras. You still have a 1-point lead, but I can't help but feel that Virtus.pro are back in the system, pre. Back in a perfect BL side so far.
Yeah. And I like the seriousness sa kampo dito ng Virtus.pro. No? I know na the comeback is happening. They have Execration where they want them to be. But still, you can't be so sure. No? Exe pa rin yung kalaban mo, pare. Isang pagkakamali lang ng execute mo. And one missed shot and all of a sudden 4 players are dead on your team. So execution still has to be on point para dito sa Virtus.pro kung makakabalik nga sila dito sa Ankara map natin. And para naman sa Exe, I think you need to find more opening opportunities sa mapa natin. I feel like sitting around is kind of costing them yung mga ibang rounds nila. But at the same time, yung default kasi sa simula ng round dito ng Virtus.pro, you really have no idea what they're prioritizing kasi they're just gonna be staying all the way dito sa Arco or dito sa hotel or dito sa LA, just poking and prodding around para sa info ng kalaban, and then they will go with the existing info na meron sila dito. So, I think a kill is needed para sa Exe.
And a kill I know that they will be able to get for themselves, pero strategy mukhang busan pa nga ulit no? As now back in towards the game. LA will be taken for the Execration, pero KSA kills off the headshot player himself. CBN down. Ngayon yung instant reaction. Alam ni KSA na may tao na babalik dito pa lang sa may CA. A VP possibly surrounding Justin right now, who is trying to be holed up. Doon pa lang sa may hotel, gets a little bit of damage kay KLR. But there it is, no? VP rotation back in towards LA. They don't even know na nandun si Follex. Or maybe they do, pare. I think alam na nila nandun siya.
Yun nga. And VP, Justin will be up next in the matter dito, pare. This is what VP does well as well. Ine-expect yata dito ni CBN na okay, I'm just gonna be waiting in TB up until the minute mark or maybe the 50-second mark. Baka may dadaan sa harap ko. But then Virtus.pro off of the timeouts of Virtus expectations, and nauna na sila dito sa may mid-side natin, and KSA taking advantage of the desperation dito ng Exe na kumuha ng pick pabalik ng mapa nila. Pero tong Virtus.pro, they're just using their superior numbers at this point to clear out the rest of the Execration members. Namatay na nga si MBA, ZYK up next on the menu para sa mga puting oso natin. And what is he gonna do about this? Cetra on the heady angle sa second mid. 7-7 and Virtus.pro mukhang sila pa kayo nag-benefit sa exit timeout.
Man, oh man. So far, a perfect BL and it just continues to run down para sa Virtus.pro. As I yun from pure aggression no? They're working a map. They're working the map like geniuses pare. Expecting peaks onto CA at ngayon sa Vents naman, KSA. The full counter. Sa ginagawa ng Execration. At nakukulangan na tayo sa mga first bloods from the sniper itself. Dahil na-expect na siya. Nakatulad nitong si KSA, katulad itong si Cetra. Almost like when we swap sides dito, nag-ibang anyo na yung Virtus.pro. Becoming methodical and punishing these early pushes na ginagawa nga naman ng both CBN as well as ni ZYK dito. So you also take a look at that instant replay, no? Parang yun na nga yung nakikita natin, the tendencies for Execration. The fact that they're putting all their emphasis dun sa first blood na ginagamit na nga yun ng Virtus.pro against them.
Instant pick. Yun nga, ZYK already down, which we expect. Para dito sa Execration, he will be the guy that will be looking for the opener para sa kanyang team. And I think as a captain, no, marirecognize mo rin na maybe I want to be the first guy dead instead of the 4 nutty players on my team. So, good recognition galing dito kay ZYK to lead the charge. But at the same time, dahil nga ganito yung structure dito ng Execration, no, with itong si ZYK handling the sniper duties, it's not the exact same defense that you see galing nga dito sa Virtus.pro where you have Zetra kind of sending it on every single angle dito sa mapa natin, and sometimes he does hang back and be the seer para dito sa likod ng ating Virtus.pro offense. Pero si Kellar magsiset up na nga sa B-side. We've already seen this before galing kay Kellar, and it's the exact same result ang makikita natin para sa VP. And look at this, Elvin looking to punish the overextension para kay Folex, who's just trying to check for any information towards the long side natin. Pero si Folex, I think he saw the head of Elvin and does know na meron na push na nangyayari galing sa VP ng A-side. But A-side is now the property of VP. Superior numbers once again. And KLR, makikita na nga si CBN. 8-7, Virtus.pro snatch the lead galing dito sa exit.
Jesus, bro. And iba na nga ngayon no? Yung timpla so far for VP. Definitely a huge punishment on that first blood that came after, no, was a masterclass when it comes to that discipline. Taking the head off of Justin sa pag-pick niya at sana dun sa may high mid, and then you fall back onto where you kind of started dun sa LA kanina. Kasi nandun pa rin naman si Elvin, no? Don't even need to kind of aggress ng time dun sa may A kasi alam mo malalim ang talim so far for Execration. You're just kind of playing around their rotation that time. So this time it's gonna be a VP who's gonna be holding down, turtling up dun sa may LA, setting up a possible execute back on towards that A site. We still have si Folex and MVA. Very formidable when it comes to that firepower, but the momentum is slipping away from Execration, and VP might actually be twisting the knife inside of that A site.
Yeah, Execration. Okay, Folex already down dito sa top A. Instant spray down on that M4 NBA. Mapapatalikod, and he's not gonna be blinded. Still gets a good hold on KSA at nakarating na nga ang ibang miyembro dito ng Exe. Good delay from NBA, but can he kill Kella around the corner? Yes, he can! And it's a 2 versus 2 even between yung dalawang teams natin. Pero si Zetra naiwan sa boxes! And now it's up to Elvin on a 1 versus 2 Virtus.pro. Countless clutches galing kay Elvin already in the past. Pero kaya na bang kumuha pa ng isa para makuha ang map point para sa Virtus.pro? An important map point as well, pare. ZYK tagged up at the start. Pero mapapabalik na lang si Elvin dito. Has to be careful about yung 2F natin on the HM side ng mapa. Pero si Elvin also looking, if ever meron kang tao dito sa likod, good damage onto CBN. And suddenly, it's realistic that you might think that a clutch might happen. Pero gusto ko yung ginagawa dito ng Execration. Why face him as 1 but we can face him as 2? Pero si Elvin na mismo magse-separate ng dalawang players natin. CBN, a heads up is needed. Elvin, a clutch is wanted. Pero si CBN cleans it up para sa Execration. 8-8, and we go even on Ankara.
They get antsy by the end of it. Giving the 1v1 laban dito kay Elvin, who is formidable when it comes to the clutch. Pero nga naman, you can feel that tension para dito kay Elvin. You knew he had it in them. Especially being a very good backup player nung pagkapasok ni KLR para ma-weed out yung metal box. He was the perfect person para ma-setapan yung top A security. Once na makapasok sa site ng mga players ng VP, almost, but not close enough para sa mga players natin on VP. That time, 8-8. And now we go back to the ball game. Execration feeling that heat, pero getting this round back is a good thing para makabalik sila na at least a little bit of confidence knowing they still have it in them. And now they go back to a default, no? 2 players still on top A. May tao pa rin naka-hold sa mga bawat sektor na pwede na pasukan. Good smoke coming down for CBN. Everybody expecting any sort of entry point sa kahit sino from VP on all sides. It's very important na makuha nila yung point na to. Any point on towards set point is a good thing talaga, pre. Nakakakaba. Kahit sino dito on the server. Na magkamali sila at that point kasi possible. Baka matapos na at that point and given in time. CBN watching closely. High mid now secured by him.
CBN has a hell of a job to do, man, which is hold down itong HM natin up against possibly 4 players. And down Virtus.pro. And he has to hit that first shot. Kung hindi, that's an instant trade. Second mid will be taken. And Hotel potentially para dito sa Virtus.pro. Flash will go through. Bulag na bulag si CBN and si ZYK. Pero, do they expect the second flash? Galing nga dito sa Virtus.pro. But actually, the delay could present this as a fake, pare. Pero walang tumatapon dito sa A-site. Pero wala rin nagro-rotate galing sa Exe from high mid. And this could break the game. Virtus.pro Execration. One headshot could make all the difference, pero nakadaan na nga VP dito sa kanilang likod. Elvin spotted, and Keller as well on the cross. Zetra getting CBN, a very key kill. Pero 8 seconds na lang natitira para dito sa VP para makapasok ng B-side. They do get the plant. And sakto pa ang plant. Nasa harap o nasa gitna ba? Feeling ko nasa gitna ng batteries pare. So the fuse is up in the air. Kung makakuha ng side control itong Execration, and it's actually planted para dito sa rampa. So VP only having to hold from their position. Here comes the flashes, here comes the nades, pero nakapatay naman dito si KLR. Spray downs all over the place. All of a sudden turns into a 3 versus 2. Execration, good defuse, pero di nga makikita yung side. Oh no! Yobib, the heartbreaker para sa Execration. And Virtus.pro, they claim map point.
Set point para sa kanila, and all came down to just 20 seconds on the round. Once they rotated the bomb, papunta doon pa lamang sa may B site, enables the position now for KSA after mapatay nila parehong si CBN as well as yung nasa loob lamang ng RS. And all this came crumbling down para sa Execration. Despite the good picks na nakuha nga naman ni ZYK, hindi niya ma-stop yung pag-push sa rampa, hindi niya ma-stop yung bomb plant. And giving the space up to VP is a very, very bad thing. Push coming in from CBN, and Keller expects this in this giving time. 4 versus 5. And VP are containing Execration kahit sila pa yung naging blacklist dito.
VP truly are the villains dito ng CFS Masters natin, man. Baiting everybody that hoped that Execration would have a dominating win up against itong Virtus.pro. And it's not the first time that VP has broken dreams dito sa Masters natin. And they are looking to break another one up against Execration. Tomorrow's potential versus the greatness of now between yung dalawang teams natin.
Triple Hotel.
Exe, Triple Hotel could be the method, pare. Pero nakaabang pa nga itong si Keller all the way on the market side. Justin with the peak. He doesn't suspect it, Keller. Tama nga yung sinabi niya sa interview. Ako muna ang papatay para sa team ko. NBA finally neutralizes the captain. Pero Execration, 2 na lang natitira para sa kanila dito. And Virtus.pro looking to neutralize itong Exe sa kanilang Ankara map.
ZYK doesn't hit the shot. Eventually does kill off Elvin on the rotation. And an open na bomb plant para sa VP. They have 3 players stacked up. May isa sa hotel. At pwede rin doblehin to, no? Kasi ang laki ng tiwala nila kay Yobeb to try to hold things down para sa side nila. 2 versus 3. Execration closing in. And possibly a closeout para sa VP as EYK gets the pick on Yobeb. 2v2. Possible pa para sa Execration.
Yeah, KSA. Jump up is still possible para sa kanya, pero kailangan niya ma-defend dito sa right side. NBA will get Tetra. KSA, USP gagana. ZYK pulls out of the defuse in time. And KSA says, no, 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 you will not get this defuse. And Virtus.pro baiting everybody. Everybody thought that there was hope dito sa Ankara map natin, pero Virtus.pro, the Heartbreakers, strike once again.
When OT was in touching distance, Virtus.pro reminds everybody kung sino dito ang villains ng kwento sa CFS SCA Masters. Once na makuha nga naman ng Execration yung magiging potential dito sa map pick nga naman nila, Virtus.pro just ran circles around them pagdating sa calling, pagdating sa mga picks nila dito on the early rounds, as well as nga naman on the retakes, where really it's an underrated aspect na nakikita natin VP making the most out of the numbers that they still have, and all of the players popping off at the right given moment, man. We gotta give credit to not only sa star players ng VP, pero as well as dito sa IGL na si KLR. The interview alone just showed you the aura that this man has. At from the last round na nakita natin kanina, mukha namang fragging really is something na hindi nga naman niya nakalimutan.
Yun nga, I feel like it's the strength of conditioning as well para dito sa Virtus.pro na I feel like a lot of these moves were already pre-planned para dito sa VP, and I feel like even in the losses, they're also still, you know, picking up yung information na nakuha nga nila dun sa mga prior rounds. So I feel like may rough idea sila kung ano yung reactions. Kunyari magpupoke ng B-side itong Exe, they expect that you know, there's gonna be a flank incoming, or pero pagdating naman sa depensa, we saw that on full display dito sa LA side nung inabangan ni Elvin itong si Folex events. Obviously may atake sa B. Anong first instinct mo kung yung Execration? Of course, let's check LA kung may tao pa nga. And Elvin was fully ready for it. VP is ready for anything na tinatapon dito na Exe-men.
For sure, pre. And sure na sure akong doble ang preparasyon para sa VP ngayon, considering napapasok tayo sa kanilang map pick. No? The 1-0 para sa VP. Pero syempre, may chance magbawi ang Execration. Ngayon, itathrow na namin sa panel natin, Mochi and Bipolar, para sa init na nakita natin from Virtus.pro's map.
Thank you so much sa ating mga casters, and oh my gosh, Bipolar. Akala ko Execration has already been able to discover and you know, use the secret formula, kumbaga sa SpongeBob, no? Pero parang hindi pala talaga, because for some reason, Virtus.pro, they are so tactical with it, no? To the point na, like, for example, papakiramdam sila, they're gonna wait for the reactions here ng Execration, and automatic, meron na kaagad silang nagbabantay sa kung sino man ang tatrabaho sa mga yon.
But look at it, Mochi, in a point wherein VP, comeback is just too good unless hindi pa tapos ang mapa. They will fight all throughout, and nakita nga natin yon, Mochi. Nakita natin it was a battle of the IGLs as well. Tapos you have Cetra, CBN, fighting all throughout. Ang daming clutch plays. Naku po, para tayong nasa semifinals na naman, Mochi. Ang ganda ng laban. So, Virtus.pro now, tama nga yung sinabi ni Keller, no, na kailangan maganda kayo kasi hindi pa tapos ang laban hanggat hindi pa kami yung nasa taas, and they just proved it very well din sa laban na yun. It was a long fight. We thought it was almost overtime, pero pumapalapak na si KSA bago pa mamatay last player.
Tapos sabi pa ni KSA, sabi niya, gumanon siya sa makeup. Nakita mo yon? Nagulat din ako dun eh. Pero grabe lang din talaga yung pinakita nila dito. But we can weigh the pros and cons, diba? Ang pros natin doon is biro mo yung first half natin, dire-diretso si Exe, man. Ibig sabihin, alam nila kung paano nila i-address and as well as yung tendencies dito ng Virtus.pro on the defense. Naging issue lang talaga nila is paano nila dedepensahan, especially na hayok or gigil na gigil sila magkaroon ng pick-off o ng bawi once na merong
Yeah.
ma-pick off sa kanila. Parang doon yung reason kung bakit nagkakaroon na sila ng cloudiness, kumbaga sa mindset.
In a way rin kasi, Mochi, kapag nasa BL side ang players natin for BL, especially for this map, no, na they have full control. Kasi they just have to wait and nag-aasim na nga yung players natin for execution na it was always just gonna be a 2v3, 1v4, kahit na may mga times na 1v4 situation, kahit na hindi na defuse ng bomba, etc. They know now, after that, na execution is becoming lackluster. Mukhang sa umpisa lang magaling ang players natin for the Exa shot fam, pero VP, they go all throughout. Kapag gising ng oso, they are gonna be fighting all throughout. At wag mong gigising yan kasi this is just a starting point, Mochi. Execration falling down, pero they are not yet out of the game. VP though, they have just woken up and this is a scary side for Execration.
Scary indeed, though, especially that here for VP, they continuously find ways in order to overwhelm, to counteract, or even create a very early advantage dito, no, sa mapa ng Ankara natin. Kaya lahat ng mga ginawa natin dito for execution during our first half, parang medyo nasayang talaga siya, no? Kasi hindi talaga nila ito na pag-itingnan, hindi nila nadadala during the time na sila na ang kailangang dumepensa. Kaya tignan natin ngayon
What a
ang
game.
ating mga stats dito. What a game indeed, because you can definitely see, tignan mo lang, yung headshot rate dito ni CBN,
Diyos ko.
100%. Oh, and we also have ZYK topping itong dito sa ating side ng execution so far. Talagang here for Virtus.pro, it's just that they're much more unanimous in terms of cooperation and how they were able to coordinate with each other. At dagdag na rin natin kung paano naging sakit ng ulo itong si KSA and as well as si Cetra during our second half.
I mean, it's KSA and Cetra, no, at the end of the day. But yeah, you talk about Keller here, wherein he has been fragging all throughout, and even though it's not Black Widow, it's Ankara, where he is also famous for. So Keller, amazing place for Virtus.pro. But I would like to put you in the single-digit mark sa ating mga kill count. Justin and Folex, Justin, he had a very rough game nonetheless, no? Buat na buat dito yung ZYK yung bangko niya just because he has been so online. And for Folex, eto na naman yung Folex na simula pa lang na parang he hasn't been the Folex na, playoffs contender. So let's see. VP still gunning all throughout. And ngayon, may kita nating ating set MVP. It's none other than the man himself. It's Kian. It's KSA.
Grabe naman to si KSA, no? 1.80 KD, 1 kill per round, 44% headshot, and 44 din ang ating smokes dito, no? Which is pretty much well-balanced as it should be. Ika nga nila, no? So, we have that here for KSA. Ayan, congratulations for taking that MVP title para sa ating mapa ng Ankara. And I wonder if things are bound to change pagdating sa ating second half. And by the way, singit ko lang, kanina dumaan ako sa live ni KLP, may watch party sila doon. So, shoutout kay Brian R. Labasa, kay KLP na rin, and kay QS or Queen Sisters Dan /Arc Lao. Ayan, shoutout sa inyo. And I guess dito na muna magtatapos ang ating mapa dito sa Ankara at tayo magbabalik for the second one. And there we have it. No? Nandito na tayo ngayon sa ating ikalawang mapa. If I recall correctly, it is the map of Fort na pinili ito ng Virtus.pro. Do you think na may bawi dito ang Execration? Ano tingin mo this would be a 2-0 sweep here?
I don't think so, Mochi. It's Fort. It's Fort. And yes, Execration plays very well here. I have to give it to them. Pero kasi experimentation phase is done. Finally, map number 1 is set off. Nakapag-comeback yung VP. They are gonna be playing it all out. Pero para sa mga cashes natin, kailangan, and as well as the viewers, kailangan natin abangan ang positioning ng GR side ng ating players mula sa ating VP. And for Execration, we just have to be stick on kay ZYK. Kay ZYK. Just because it has been pretty good and pretty disgusting sa side nila. Folex though, Feeling ko, ibabato ko na to kay Sneaky na hindi na muna sa emoji kasi malapit na i-throw. I would like to give his thoughts about the pre-playoffs na Fall X kasi kakaiba talaga yun, Mochi. It's ganto na, di ba? Pinag-usapan natin to last season. Ganto si Fall X na parang support player na naman and hindi to yung Fall X na kilala natin. So, let's see, Mochi. Ikaw ba? Ano sa tingin mo yung mangyari, mama?
Ako feeling ko, ito yung karma ni Paul. Kakabanat niya ng Beyblade. Yung nagaya ni si Buko
Ah.
kanina. Paul! Gising, Paul! Kaya natin yan.
Let it rip! Let it rip, boss!
Feeling ko, yun yung nagmakulit kasi si Paul kanina, no? Pero feeling ko naman magkakaroon nga ng bawi dito si Execration. I do definitely think it depends on how they would be able to address their defense and as well as yung spaces
Oh,
na
yeah.
na kinikater nila kasi there are some moments wherein there is a tendency for them to overextend, which we hope would not be the case dito sa mapa ng port natin muli. Pero sabi dito ni Yopski or Yopeski Solaba, grabe talagang Virtus.pro, ibang-iba. Coach 02 from 2-7 to 10-8, grabe talaga. I agree with that sentiment, not gonna lie.
Mochi, this is why they are an international team. They are world stage class talents, no? Ganyan ang VP. You will never count them out. Kahit ako nga, sabi ko, pag nag-switch ng size to, this is comebackable. Lalo na nasa pa lang tayo, tutok na tutok tayo, everyone was watching all throughout. And if you doubt the players coming from VP, you are watching it wrong.
Wow, watching it wrong. Pero alam mo, tama na tong chikahan natin dito, Bipolar, kasi ilalatag na natin to kay Ramon at kay Sneaky Frog.
Maraming salamat nga pala sa panel natin, no? Granting us the opening dito sa ating second set, Port being the map pick now para sa VP. At syempre kami pa naman ang kasama nyo, no? Ramon and Sneaky Frog. Now, remember, kung ano yung tanong ni Bipolar, di ba? May pagbabago ng onte sa nakikita natin from Folex compared to last year. What is your take nga naman ngayon, Sneaky? Yun ba yung nakikita mo kanina sa naging game natin?
Yeah, I think I'm not the only one with this sentiment. No, I think sinabi na namin to ni Salvi as well na I feel like yung roles dito ni CBN and ni Fallex need to be flipped kasi I feel like etong si CBN is being more enabled when he is on the, kind of the second in role, no, para sa kanyang team. And I feel like si Paul really does benefit dito sa randomness ng anti-frag, no, kasi he can really operate within the, the smokes and the nades and the flashes nga dito, and he can try to navigate his way into an entry. And para sa akin, I feel like Season Paul is obviously gonna be a bit weaker, no? Makikita nga natin dito sa playoffs. But I feel like we've barely seen kung ano yung capability niya dito. However, I am a bit worried para dito sa Exe, man. Granted, no? Exe will start on the GR side sa port map na to. But then, VP surprisingly, and even in the international stage, having one of the best, if not the best PL side pagdating sa port map. Somehow they get itong CA constantly, they get itong LA constantly, their Z and underbridge control is on point para nga sa kanila dito. So it really is a question kung anong klaseng depensa ang gagawin nga dito ng XA. Are we gonna be seeing yung mga LB takes? Makikita ba natin yung mga mid takes? Are we gonna expect a player in CA, which in my opinion is probably the most important player para sa A site? Kasi kung walang tao dito sa CA, who's gonna stop the people from lining up para nga dito sa kanilang A-execute? Let's see, man. Execration dito sa ating PL para dito sa VP.
For sure. As you mentioned, one of the best in terms of the BL on a port map that is GR-sided nga naman. And in an attempt at trying to confuse their opponents, they put Pearly Utel nga dun sa naging store B. So that's the initial plan so far para sa VP ngayon, is to keep two of their players planted pa rin dun sa same position on B site. While for Execration, the Utel is in play, no? Smoke on mid, but it doesn't really deter VP on taking that space. Elvin now crossing already. CA control na sinasabi nga natin kanina, no? Habang ang VP nagpe-prepare for possible take or possible defense on towards that LA position. CBN as well as EYK here. While VP in terms of map control, just slowly getting both store B as well as yung magiging CA push na baka kalabanin nila lamang ng mga players natin ng Execration.
Yeah, I think this is more focused na hindi na mabigyan ng Z-control itong Virtus.pro, no, or at least not get control of the curve side of the map.
Yeah.
And since walang tao dito sa CA, KLR could make as much fakes as he want, pero meron nang tumatapak dito sa CA, and that's gonna make it a lot less believable. Para sa mga Virtus.pro players, the callousness ng kanilang pagtapon at kanilang pagtapak dito sa CA will provide an early clue kung saan sila papunta dito. Fall X with the flash, NBA will get KSA, at naandito na si NBA para i-defend ang B-site. Fall X waiting for the perfect opportunity na mag-peek. And Yobib has gotten on in. CBN will get Elvin. Justin, makuha na nga si Yobib, and Folex finally the green light para makakuha ng kill dito. And Execration, a well-played B defense and an early read as well. Galing sa kanila, man. Hindi ko, if you're setting up sa CA and you're going for an A2, they're making so much noise dito sa CA, pare. And I feel like yung point ng noise na yun, pare, is to try to draw more attention sa Exe, but instead, it did the polar opposite, pare.
Made a lot of sense as well na kapag nung napatay nila si Kellar on mid, the VP needed to purely activate on their push kanina on that B site as well. So they needed the reaction. Unfortunately, the same could be said as well for Execration. Once that they found the noise dun sa B, dun palang lalabas yung mga nasa rampa, dun ma-activate yung mga tao dun sa under. It's just a heavily guarded B site by the tail end of it para sa Execration. As we take a look at this replay again, it was just one tap from Folex. So yun palang hinaharap natin from that Ankara first map kanina. And purely setting up this Execration for a good start sa GR nila as we're just running the clock down. It's not really push back on LA para dito sa Execration. They're just gonna hang back, keep that CA in full control. Nandito din CBN. Ingay din galing kay KSA just to keep that CA player contained dun pa lang sa same position niya. From Execration side, they're just gonna double stack up players on both that mid as well as curve. Dalawa na nakatao on backside as well on B. So in terms of defense, meron pa rin naman para sa Execration, but they're just also giving up that C, which is putting a lot of threat dito kay MVA. He has to win these fights.
Yeah. Keller, I think there's so much time. Pwede pa nila i-clear yung CA dito actually. Pero ini-expect nila yung Execration na hindi masyado mag-commit dito sa CA. Elvin still looking for the player pushing dito sa may ladder side natin. Pero Virtus.pro making this mid-take very convincing. Pero saan pa talaga sila papunta? CBN with the peak gets si Keller. And as soon as nawala si Elvin dito sa CA angle, dun pa nga umaksyon dito sa CBN. A very nice timing para sa Exe. 25 seconds, not much time para mag-execute. CBN, nasa loob pa rin na CA, and will spot Yobib, and will spot both players actually. Kill cam is still on, and Execration calling. A site take na to from VP. No more time para makapasok ng site. It's all fights, it's all fists para dito sa Exe. Justin with the first blow, but can he get the second one? KSA Elvin getting two, speed running their way to A site, and nakuha pa nila yung plant. KSA Elvin clearing out for 3 players dito sa laruan natin. Fall X. Oh, with the Kobe from all the way from downtown dito sa RS, and si Zetra na lang natitira, but it's the best angle you can hold as the sniper. Pero the moment you miss a wall bang, a flurry of bullets will fly towards you. That's a miss. At ayan na ang sinasabi ko. The EBR clearing the wall, clearing the long, and clearing the head of Zetra. Fall X with the clutch and the confidence na kanina pa natin hinahanap.
The Fall X that we've been looking for from the very start of this series now shows a little bit more of that Fall X that we have been kind of wishing to come out dito sa laban natin against Virtus.pro. It got a little antsy with the amount of time that VP have come back into how they're approaching this LA. They needed to consider Justin on top, and he took so much time para labanan yung mga papasok pa lamang sa site niya. Literally positioning himself mismo sa pinaka-base ng stairs natin, where it just took so much time for the ladder player to come up. And I mean, the pistol and the movement from Virtus.pro just made sure that yes, they take off that player na tataas pa lamang on stairs, but they just couldn't get the objective as easily as they should have. So Virtus.pro talking a little bit more on their timeout, maybe a little bit of adjustment para kay KSA, maybe positions in the post plan have to be cleaned up, but again, this is kind of what we kind of expected for a matchup just like this. The firepower from Execration is just undeniable pagdating dito sa sutukan, pagdating dito sa sites natin. But you kind of can't help but feel that this is kind of something that we expected with Execration starting on GR support map natin. They're gonna do well with how they position themselves, especially on long A executes. But an adjustment period for VP and a little bit of time to talk through their mistakes ngayon is maybe gonna make this closer. And they kind of anticipate Sneaky Frog.
For sure. I think ang ganda naman ng denial dito ng Exes sa simula, no? I think can't really deny how good they are pagdating sa early part ng mga rounds natin. I think really is about those mid-rounding and late fights kung saan nakakatakas itong Virtus.pro and really gets away with a lot of things dito sa last map natin. It could be prevalent in this map as well. This map is the series is actually getting intense, man. Folex is sweating at naka-aircon yung Execration dito. So, kinda on the same boat right now. I am also just as sweaty knowing how intense this game could be and fully knowing na pati yung 5-point lead or even an 8-point lead hindi mo matatrust dito sa mapa na to, pare.
Yeah, man. Ang karap pa lang parang sangkatutak ng comeback na nakuha natin dito thanks to VP and how well they played the map and the time. At away from the conversation of time as well, kahit maka 2v4 pa nga yung nagiging round natin, VP is one of those teams pa rin na talagang can make the most out of the two that are still alive on the map as well. So, take a look at the replay. Puro CA lang naman makikita natin dito, no? Which has been the possible entry point para sa naging VP natin. Which was a key component para sila nakapasok din dito sa site natin. So, 2-0 for Execration. A very good start sa kanilang GR so far. Now we go back to the defaults. Again, para sa Virtus.pro. As KSA will be the one to make that noise all around that site. Pero grabe, daming tao na nakantabay lamang dun sa may Z, hoping for anybody for VP to push up a little bit too close dun pa lang sa position na yan.
I feel like this is more of a counterplay more than anything, pare, na yun nga, meron kang 4 players dito sa B site natin. If may A-take na mangyayari, you're basically in position already to climb up dito sa CA. Problema nga lang dito sa strat na to, you really have no idea kung may tao sa CA or may tao dito sa ating bridge side. So, it's a bit of a gamble para dito sa mga Exe players and they are hoping na may magpapakita dito sa ating VP side, at least on the B side. And I think alam naman ng Execration tong default ng VP And unless they really fully commit dito sa A side, man, I really do not know how VP can respond to the push on the backside. CBN spotted dito sa top A. Pero full commit na ba to? Galing dito sa VP. Yes, it is. Pero meron pa may E1 dito sa may midside. And that's a good idea para kay Zetra. CBN will get Kellar. Pero KSA, napakabilis ang kanyang trade. And ZYK, lumikod na lang kaysa sa harap. 4 versus 3. Execration. All of a sudden, posible ang retake para sa kanila dito. 30 seconds sa C4. Justin bumabaril na nga dito sa bridge natin. KSA, I think, spotted sa baba ng A side. So may existing information itong Execration para kumuha ng retake. Pero kaya ba nilang patayin ang mga BP players? Justin coming on in inside of the smoke. KSA will spot him first. Spray down para kay Justin. And here comes the trade for Folex. Yo, Bib! Key kill on Folex. Makes it back dito sa top A. In NBA, can he spot the kid in time? Spray down 4 seconds on the dot. At meron pa siyang sukli na dalawa pare. 3-0 para dito sa Exe.
Again, another round where we got a little antsy. We're still off the post plant. We were looking for a reaction on the side of Execration after a good flank from ZYK na set-upan pa nga sila from both the front end and the back end. Sa mga tao na nakalabas lamang dun sa may top 8 position natin. All eyes were on BR where the entry point comes in para dito sa firepower duo ng Execration. And it took a jumping USP yet again to make the difference para makuha nila yung third round dito for Execration's GR. The gamble. While it did not work initially as we thought, no? Parang it worked in a way na nakuha nila yung rotate with all the numbers still in check para sa kanila. So, all eyes back onto Virtus.pro. Parang kanina lang yung nakita natin, no? Multiple rounds para dito sa Execration. But I can't help but feel na kapag nag-swap tayo sa GR, baka safe lang ulit ito. Or baka magiging same lang ulit yung magiging mangyari, no? 1 minute and 30, KSA controlling. Yung CA na naman, possibly playing for those utils, and possibly just take that curve control yet again.
Ninja towards the mid side. Pero si CBN, nakita niya na maaga, nandito na dadaan yung mga Virtus.pro players. However, distracted itong si CBN. Meron na palang 4 na nakadaan dito sa long. Yobib with the entry. Pero si ZYK nakaantay ng setup galing sa kanyang mga kakampi. 3 ang dadaan dito sa exit at sa bridge. Pero merong magagaling sa likod, and that will be Justin. Justin, you have to get the long player. Pero bumalik siya sa mid, Execration, a late plant galing dito sa VP, and Kellar will get the first pick kay ZYK. 3 versus 4. Zetra with the better angle sa top A, using the smoke for cover. And Justin, I mean, if you can find a random HE kill or a random headshot dito kay Yobi, pwede pa to. And Elvin will be the receiving end of that headshot. Zetra nakaiwas pa, 18 seconds. Stuck siya dito sa exit, pero stuck pa talaga sa... That's the spray down para kay Justin, and another 1v1 goes in the way ng Execration.
Isolation para kay Justin as he kills off si Zetra. After he taken down itong LA player natin on the side of Virtus.pro, that is just pure confidence from Justin. Single-handedly saving the round para sa Execration. Despite the good movement galing dito sa Virtus.pro, makatapos sila ko ng BR. It was a good entry point na hindi nga na-expect ng VP kasi puro focus lang sila doon on the way towards that LA position. But I like the discipline coming through kahit na ma-isolate dito si Justin. It was a good idea na iset up sana yung crossfire. But in the end, after losing at 1v1 from Zetra, he needed to reposition, activating yung mismong LA player natin, but also giving himself up para makuha ni Justin yung kills dyan. 4-0 for Execration. The individual stepping up. And the GR just working its magic dito sa GR side of the map on port. Again, back on that triple stack up on B na I don't believe nakikita pa rin ng Virtus.pro so many times now. I think puro A yung nagiging execute nila. So I guess this kind of magic hasn't really been seen so far para sa VP, CBN close on CA, no?
Second flash? Well, yung HC tinamaan si KSA instead, and Yobib will get the buy one take one. He took his teammate with him dun sa CA push, that's for sure, pare. And ganda ng position din ni CBN. Actually, he was trying to dodge yung flash galing dito sa BR. And CYK doesn't need to dodge anything. He will just straight up peek itong si Zetra. Justin with the mid kill. 5-0 in Virtus.pro. Questions now start to arise. BL side is now struggling to even get around on the board. Pero Execration, porket nakalima kayo dito, you want to calm down a bit. Alam kong nakalima na pare etong Exe, but we've seen this kind of lead before. And they need to secure every single one, pare. Every single one. Di sila pwede magpalagpas kahit isa dito.
There's a certain person na sobrang saya-saya na nga ngayon, no? And, a smile on the faces of Execration on the start of it, pero you know the capabilities of Virtus.pro. They could possibly just steal it all away with just a few good rounds. And possibly, no? Like 3 rounds could possibly like upset again. Pa rin yung mga players natin ng Execration despite the lead. So, first time na makita nila yung push on B, and this time ZYK hits the shot kay Zetra. Kasi pala yung nakikita niya. Hasn't seen the full front of this store B push as CA now being that other entry point para sa VP. They have the alternative, but do they have the execute?
Yeah, CA control. Okay, step 1. Nakuha na ng VP. Now they only need to bother with step 2, 3, and 4. And step 5, which is winning itong 1v1 sa top A. Pero titignan natin if maiging 1v1 pa ba to. Elvin with a nice find on towards CBN. Justin with the support flash and the support headshot dito kay Elvin. ZYK on the top side. Di pa rin gumagalaw. Flick down! Nice shot on the Obib with the quick scope. MVA Piso. Full X, full HP. KSA, it's still a possibility. Pag mahanap mo dito si Paul, pwede mong i-parse ang 1v1 up against itong kay Matt. But I love what X is doing. They're just sticking together dito sa my mid side, making sure it's not even possible para kay KSA. And now it is a 6-0.
Absolutely good start nga naman para sa Execration. They kind of put all the focus back in towards the top A pressure na nakalimutan ng VP. May tao pa palang nagro-rotate all the way from high mid, and that was Fall X. That was also Execration's time to shine. And in the setup where they have to overwhelm the anchor, they completely got dismantled by the util. Despite the good opening pick para sa players natin on Execration, all the focus was back on that A side. So 6-0. 7 kill Justin, 5 kills for CBN. Two of these players just becoming a pillar para sa naging depensa ng GR nila so far. Take a look at that instant replay, no? From the picks, really, it doesn't really matter kahit ano yung mga setups nila, no? VP still will trust that push. Pero back on those numbers, Execrations do have the solution to put down this VP team. 6-0 ngayon. Di na nila inulit yung B push na ginawa nila kanina. Putting all their priority back on mid and on to CBN where it could be tested in a matter of seconds.
Tested indeed. But when is the trigger gonna be pulled? Yan ang tanong nito. Yun ang palaging tanong pagkalapit ng Virtus.pro. Well, turns out now, pare. Ayun nga, CBN will be the first one down, getting taken out with a headshot, no? Medyo ironic, pero Virtus.pro, still, anong gagawin nila? One-man lead. This is the situation that they want to be in, pero si Justin napacheck ng CA, pero wala siya nakita dito. HE smokes to be thrown in the mid-side. KSA will be checked around the corner. Pero si Justin, siya pa nga mamamatay dito. KSA expecting the check and A-site will be the target para nga dito sa mga BB players. Elvin nakapasok ng bodega pero papapalabas na dito ni MBA. MBA getting to Yobe has the cross pero hindi nga sa makakadaan. Kellar from the backside of PR will finally take down itong si MBA. M4 in the hands of ZYK. And this gun feels all too familiar para sa kanya. Pero si Kellar, may kita si Paul. Pero ZYK with a gun that is quite familiar para sa kanya, pare. Now it's a 7-0.
M4A1 para kay Kellar. Nga lang, no, sometimes comfortability is not the best solution against an Execration that is very comfortable sa lead na meron sila ngayon. MVA with the shot. And Cetra falling down. Not a good half so far para kay Christian. As VP almost around that you could possibly give on the board kanina because of their discipline, but instead Execration on MBA's shoulders. They actually get themselves a kill, pero KSA, a good spray down kay CBN at Justin. Sa LA push na ginawa ng Execration, the punishment is pressed para kay KSA. 4 versus 3. C4 still in their hands. All the options still on the table. But I like what Execration is doing as a reaction. Magsasama-sama na lang. Sa kahit saang entry point ng VP, prepared sila. Pero ang dami mga butas sa pwedeng gamitin ng VP dito.
Christian is crazy, Ramon, by the way. Pero yun nga, Execration. Ay. LP control para dito sa Virtus.pro. Ngayon, naghahanap na sila dito sa House B. Pero merong NBA na may sniper and I feel like he knows his way around the sniper rifle dito sa mapa natin. So it will require one good pick-off kung sino man ang mag-entry para dito sa VP side. But the flashes will be coming galing dito kay KSA. Here comes the utility NBA. Hindi man lang nabulag dito sa baba pero si Folex mamamatay dito sa mid-side. Good find galing kay Elvin causing disruption on the curve players. Pero si NBA, Ripo, pero wala siyang makukuha. Unfortunate para sa kanya pare. And ZYK, yun lang nakita na si Elvin na dumadaga dito sa may Z-side. And 35 seconds on the clock. Another clutch situation para dito kay ZYK. So far, 100% dito sa port map natin. But can VP make it different?
Have to clean it up on the post plant. ZYK is still a player na dapat pa rin respetuhin pagdating sa mga clutch situations natin. You have seen this happen before from him. Can he do it yet again? Mukhang hindi na nga, no? Gagamitin na lang yung oras para maging extended timeout. ZYK will get the pick kay Yobe, but it's not gonna result into a round win. VP gonna get the 1-7. Finally, a blacklist win para sa kanila, no? To possibly lighten the load na meron sila pagka-swap nila sa second half.
I can feel the 8-8 coming, man. I can really feel the 8-8 coming. And VP, they're gonna be clearing Z, possibly itong CA. And I wouldn't be surprised, no, if they're gonna try to challenge itong si DYK sa top 8 with like a 4-man or a 3-man peak dito sa long just to take out itong top 8 player natin. And that is in the cards para nga dito sa Virtus.pro. Pero para sa Execration, they actually kind of peeled back yung kanilang depensa, no, dito sa mapa natin. And I do expect na a minute and 50 pa yata aakyat itong si CBN. And yun nga, exactly, naandito na nga sa CA. Pero Virtus.pro kasi feeling ko they kind of have the handle na medyo late na pumapasok itong si CBN sa CA. And actually almost caught him twice. Nagkataon lang talaga na hindi siya nabulag dun sa flash, pare.
Yeah nga, boy. Close enough to try to dodge away from that util, pero still set up in a position where he could be a threat para sa mga papasok. Ito lang sa may CA as VP. I'm gonna push up onto LA, ZYK, spots out KSA, Kellar with the trade, Elvin gets the CA player, CBN down, so a 3v4. Now on the cards para sa VP. And the reaction from Justin, now he's the top A player para sa side ng Execration. But VP know that they have the time. Nakita nila na marami pa silang oras at pwede pa rin nilang paglaruan yung rotation ng Execration. Or maybe just possibly just run it back onto top A. Let the players on Execration feel that anxiety sa pagpasok na doon sa site na yan.
Yeah, that cortisol gameplay para nga dito sa ating Virtus.pro side. Yobib, nakita na nga dito si Justin NBA. We'll get the spray down dito kay Kellar bago siya umakyat. And another wallbang para kay NBA. 2 versus 2. Elvin, timing is of the essence. Pero napatingin na nga dito si Paul X before he can complete the ninja parkour. Zetra na lang on the 1 versus 2 and he could be the most dangerous man pag nakaabot siya ng top A. Pero, plant ba muna? Or a pick-off is needed? Plant finally goes down para kay Zetra pero top A ang kanyang position. He went into exit. This could be very risky, no? Pero pwede rin tong gumana. Para dito kay Zetra, no one spotting him except Paul X at the very last second. Nakita ang kanyang body armor possibly na nagsistake out dito sa box natin. And Execration. An 8-1 start. The best start you can ask for dito sa port, pare.
For sure, pre. An Execration that is feeling that heat nga naman. And they have split up VP in a way that VP never expected talaga with the CA control. The high-mid retake scenario para sa dalawang players natin ng Execration and that call to rotate after patayin nila yung nasa BR, leaving Cetra on an island, and he had the choice para i-fake tap na lamang para makapag bait out ng kahit anong early peaks. Pero considering the position pa rin ng dalawang nag-flank from Execration, it's not likely that he's able to actually get that clutch in time as well. So good discipline para sa Execration. And the GR side that they definitely made the most out of into an 8-1 scoreline. But now VP are the ones on GR naman. And when they're comfortable and when they're in the right positions, talagang alam natin na magiging fortress yung mga yan. Ang problema, the margin for error has now become even slimmer para sa VP ngayon. They have to make it a somewhat flawless second half if they want to close this 2-0 sneaky.
Yun nga, no? That's how good VP is, no? Pagdating sa laruan nila. And even in an 8-1 situation, di pumapasok sa utak natin yung salitang tapos na dito sa mapa natin. I mean, it's still entirely possible para dito sa VP na makabalik dito sa game natin. They've already done it once. Even almost actually kind of tripping, no, dito sa last game natin with that one round that actually caused the 8-8. Pero, Virtus.pro, man, is it experimentation or is it actually yung kanilang tunay na play na nakita nga natin dito sa PL side? We didn't see yung split A na nakita nga natin that actually ended yung last na port map natin na nakita nga natin sila. And I was expecting na, okay, ito yung trump card nila dito sa mapa natin. Gagamitin nila for the very last round ng BL. And I feel like they were kind of scared to pull the trigger dito, pare, kasi Execration, they are one of the smarter teams dito sa tournament natin. I feel like they also recognize that nung hindi sila kumagat sa fake dito sa A side. So I feel like VP had to play slightly different dito nga sa BL nila. And Execration doing a nice job of covering covering what they need to cover dito sa mapa natin. So that means CA, itong Z, nothing is free para dito sa VP.
For sure. Now we're back in towards that second half na ngayon. Elvin closed up. Folex expected. The spray down is good but not good enough laban kay MVA as KLR has his back. Justin down. Not against ZYK though. Apat ang mga naubos dito. Bawat miyembro on the side of Execration and VP. MVA low on HP. Pero the entry point is still that B side. 2 versus 2.
Grabe. The El Clasico duo versus the newest stars dito sa mapa natin. Zetra, Yobib, looking to enter galing dito sa HB, pero si MVA kung maklear na dito na medyo maaga-aga itong curve natin, he will know that this spot is available to play. But the flash will enter the side. ZYK, MVA pulag. Nice shot galing kay Zetra on the EBR. At si ZYK no choice kundi mag-swing galing sa deathcam and nakita siya ng dalawang players. Virtus.pro, clean retake. Hindi sila nagmadali masyado dito pare. That's what we call low cortisol gameplay naman para sa kanila.
Para sumasayaw lang, no? Sa mismong pag-retake nila dito. On that low cortisol gameplay as you mentioned, but a clean retake as you mentioned, but not the cleanest. Full tune pa lang sa Store Bias. It all relied upon that CROSSFIRE na naset ng kanila both house as well as storage. Buti nga naka-hold naman ito si KLR. Nalaman niya na maraming nakalabas naman on the way towards that Z position. Sets up the flank perfectly para dito kay Yobib as well as for Zetra. Knowing that the entry point is given onto the side of VP to the 2-8. They have the point that they need as a GR to set themselves up. So they have a triple stack on towards that P again. Habang ang Execration naman, ang tatao dun sa may mid-side. Yobib now gonna be contested.
Here's a flash. But there is no one lining up para sa flash dito ng CA unless si CBN pala yung nagilina dito. And Lati will. Here comes the flash. Bulag si Yobib and he will not be seeing nothing sa CA. And I think satisfied na sila. Okay, nakuha na natin yung CA control. Maybe let's try to get Z kung kayo yung Exe. And that would really expand yung kanilang map control dito pare.
For sure, pre. CA now open para dito sa Execration. Now gives that option sa kanila this time around. There's also a possibility na pwede na lang iwan itong si Folex, low on HP. So, is that even if mamatay siya dito, it gives info na nandun pa rin na nakatingin dun si KSA. Pero look at that Z control. Justin could have the peak papunta kay KSA. He does so decisively. Laban dito kay KSA. Entry point on B now present. Elvin on the cross gets the shot kay Folex. A good flash as well, delays the trade. Galing sa Execration. Holds the line, gets the spray down on 2. CBN with the trade-off sa pagpasok na Execration. Now forces VP to play retake yet again.
Hindang MVA. Oh, just barely getting out. Pero quick scope pa rin para kay Zetra. And looking to see if he can start the highlight play with the sniper. Pero umiba na nga siya ng baril dito. It will be the EBR. 2 players, very wall-bangable positions, especially para kay ZYK. 20 seconds left and ngayon medyo na iilang na dito yung mga Execration players. May tao pa parating ng curve or wala. Here comes the first pick from ZYK. Wallbang headshot para kay Zetra! What can this kid do, pare?
Ano, Sniper God! Sniper God! Put him in any weapon, any position!
Oh God.
And he shows that he is flexible in this regard. Zetra with a 2K. Starting with that flick on the sniper para mapatay, maklear yung house. And then, the flank coming down. Execration, nagulantang. 3-8 para sa VP. That is a superstar player if I've ever seen one.
Jesus Christ, man. He can do it with a TRG, HK, EBR. Zetra, not only aiming for the best sniper in the Philippines, pare, mukhang pati yung rifles natin ay delikado dito sa rankings natin. And you can kinda see Yobib sweat a bit. He's like, damn, he's really good with the EBR, pare. I think you should stay on the sniper, man. Let me keep my role dito sa team natin. But man, a clutch was needed and a clutch was given. Pero speaking of clutch, can they clutch this B-site? KSA, lipat ng 2F, pero alam ng Execration. Nandito nakatambay si KSA sa HP sa mga ibang mga default rounds. And ngayon, hahanapin na nila si KLR. Not a push just yet, but a good start para sa Exe.
They know that mid is also a possibility para sa kanila. So they're letting go of BL, leaving KELR still here. At hindi pa sila nakapasok. Pero napatay pa rin na rin sa kapitan. Elvin
Elvin.
with one. Still a very big threat. Gets the spray down on two. At mukhang okay na yan. Set up the Dark Prince for a clutch of the century against 3 people from Execration na nasa loob ng site. Good shots coming forward for Yobib. Gets the second as well. Pero MVA stabilizes para sa Execration. Set point para sa Execration.
And finally, nakikita na nila yung finish line dito sa mapa na to. Nagtataka rin sila, why have we been running for so long na napakalayo, palayo yung finish line. But then, Exe with the sprint, Exe with the run towards the B-side, CBN, Folex, immediate 2 players down. Justin, nakita na nga si Zetra sa mid, removes the clutcher issue. Pero kaya pa nilang tapusin ang round na to, 2 versus 3, Yobib and KELR. Still very possible knowing the skill of these 2 players, pero bumaba na nga si Folex denying the bottom B side. KELR with the spray, CBN down, pero si Folex napapatay sa dalawang last na players ng VP. That is Exe with a port win.
Una sa lahat, welcome back, Folex. We missed you. We know your capabilities. And thanks to that, it is Execration getting the map pick away from VP themselves. And I'd like to highlight, no? It's not always a comeback when we see VP play like that talaga, no? Sometimes that struggles. Talagang struggle na talaga yun para sa VP talaga. They never really had the time para makapag-adapt sa naging GR side nga naman nila, no? A lot of good space taken by Execration. At naalala nga naman ni Folex, no? Kaya ko maging entry fragger talaga. Gets so many of those first bloods needed para lang masetapan yung sarili niya on the executes. And what resulted into a very good BL side, it was all because of an even better GR side nga naman para sa Execration.
Yeah, it's quite scary still, no, yung nanggagawa dito ng VP sa PL side on some of these rounds. Obviously, the bite is still there para dito sa VP, the guns are still there para sa VP, pero Execration obviously, when it comes to the map of Port, and I feel like Port itself kind of played out dito sa mapa natin, the lead was a bit too huge, and Execration naman just finally taking full advantage of trying to go faster sa mapa natin kasi I feel like yung momentary pauses na nakikita natin dun sa first map is really what kind of messed them up, no? And I love seeing no hesitation ganang dito sa mga Exe players natin.
Yeah, for sure, pre. And for that, it is a welcome note para sa Execration to actually push us over the line. Hindi ba natin na-expect na nakita natin ang matchup na ito na hindi tayo aabot ng map 3, diba? Siyempre, hinahanap-hanap natin yan. At ngayon, ibabata na natin ito kay Mochi as well as kay Bipolar. Siyempre, dahil map 3 ito, marami pa silang pag-uusapan dyan.
Grabe talaga yun, no, Bipolar. Ako guys, kung alam niyo lang kung gano'n nagwala tong kasama ko kanina.
Uy, hindi.
Nako, lahat naman ng ating mga prediction, buhay pa naman, no? Yun yung maganda dito, no? That all of us vibed for that third map to be pulled out at yun nga ang mangyayari ngayon. Pero talagang babalikan natin dyan ang highlights natin kasi Bipolar at dahil mo at dahil mo atang naging expressions nun and emotions after all of the things na nakita natin dito.
Alam mo, Mochi, I feel like sa Port map of all places pa, I feel like the experimentation phase is still not yet done for the side ng ating players for VP. Kasi medyo pinabahan na tayong lahat ng nasa GR side na dito ang players natin for VP just because we know how they play. It's always B side. They know how to retake it. It's always coming in from house B. Pero yung pagdepensa, iba. Hindi sila naglalaro sa may B side mismo. Hindi sila naglalaro doon towards sa may corner sa kaliwa. Pagpasok mo ng B side, is actually holding outside of house B, no? With that second floor. Tapos, it's an easy pick-off kapag napuntirya dito na Execration yung mid-side natin. Pero, talagang, akala ko wala na yung mga Rossi teams natin, pero yun yung ginawa ng players from Execration dito sa ating fourth map. That is how insane what happened here. Ganun yung kalibre na ginawa ng ating Execration. But for VP, Cetra is still online. Elvin! Hindi ko alam kung bakit Execration, they cannot just get the kill coming from house B. Palaging isa yung lalabas. Spacing is not too good. But nonetheless, VP, nice try pero abot tayo ngayon ng ating new compound. Look at that, 10-3 scoreline. Kakaiba compared to what happened on Ankara. Pero for VP,
Grabe.
one step away still. For Execration now, one step closer naman. Kasi Mochi, look at the stat line.
Grabe, no? Talagang pinag-aralan nila na maigi itong VP din sa mapa ng port natin, which is crazy! Kasi tingnan mo nga yung agwat like you have mentioned, from 10-8 to 10-3. Lahat dito ngayon is maraming mixed reactions, I'm pretty sure. Pero like what you have mentioned, tignan mo naman yung mga KDs natin dito for the side of Execration. While ni isa, walang nag-negative na KD. While on the other hand, still consistent itong mga people natin such as Iyobeben as well as Elvin. Unfortunately, sa Junkie Mapos at mukhang nagkaroon ata ng kakulangan in terms of addressing the wave that is being thrown onto them ng Execration. At ayun na nga, bumawi
Eto na.
nawala na ang karma ni Buko sa kanya at ngayon siya naman ang MVP for this back. Congratulations to Paul X 1.71 KD and wow, pretty high ang kanyang headshot per kill dito
I mean, Execration, Fall X, welcome back, brother. Kung nagbe-Beyblade ka kanina, talagang inikot mo yung ulo nila na yung tunog ng ulo ng
Wow.
ating mga players mula sa players ng ating VP, daming players. Pero isang player lang naman pag-usapan natin. The big commendation though for MVA. Kasi Mochi, hindi niya hinayaan na umabot ng pagplanta ng bomba kapag magre-retake siya. Ando na siya sa may VR nung nasa GR side sila. And he just instantly cut off the execution ng players ng VP. Kahit na matalo dito yung mga players natin on the A side.
I feel like the best way to explain this is nandun sila lagi sa sweet spot, no? Bago pa man
Yes.
merong mangyari, aware at preparado na sila. So let us see if this would be the same team pagdating sa ating new compound. Tayo ay magbabalik. Tayo ay nagbabalik dito no, sa ating serye ng Execration versus Virtus.pro na kung saan, naku po, nagkatalo na. 1-1 na ang ating estado ngayon, bipolar.
I mean, job's not done, job's not finished, and it's time for these two teams to intensify everything that they had from the very first map, no, and just instill it everywhere here sa new compound. What a way to end it as well, no? Sa new compound map tayo magtatapos.
True. Kaya I'm really interested what are they cooking here, no? I'm pretty sure na pareho silang merong handa dito, and especially that this is going to be our last set. It is bound to be crazy. It is bound to be close. I am not gonna wonder, no, kung pagka nagkaroon tayo ng overtime, kung anong dahilan doon, kasi it's gonna be quite expected na rin din siguro, no, para dito sa dalawang teams natin. Although, I wonder, no, what happened then sa mapa ng port natin, especially that there were like a lot of things that it appears na unanticipated dito ng VP, no, especially when it came down to just by basing on their stats basically.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, Mochi. Iba na kasi. If we dive in even more sa ating stats, no, they're not playing bad. They're just
Naman,
getting
yeah.
outgunned. And they're just getting out strategized na parang in your face pero slow kind of tempo, tapos biglang sabog yung nangyari kanina. This time though, new compound, it's almost kind of the same. Except for hindi siya ganun ka-open compared to port. So, let's see. Zetra is still on fire though. Yobib is still here. Kellar is still there. But for Execration, we need more and we need to keep on going kung gusto nila manalo dito sa ating 2-1.
Indeed. Kaya naman, no, inapag na natin ito to our casters who is bound to make everything fiery, Ramon, and as well as Sticky Frog.
Tama ka naman, Mochi, no? Fiery indeed kasi sa init ng Execration, pinabalik nila ito to a set number 3 this time around. VP now finding themselves in new compound territory and very familiar territory sa parehong teams na ito. No? Unfortunately, sa naging sentiment nga naman ni Bipolar, tama siya in a way na, oo, on fire pa rin naman yung mga key players nila. Pero a few of the key players in my mind not activating is becoming a big open window na para matake control ng Execration game na to.
Yeah, so yung baka nanonood natin dito, really just shuffle to the most comfortable part of your seat. Maghanap na kayo ng napaka-komportable na upuan because this is gonna take a while. yung mapa na to. That's for sure. Compound, of course, a map that is full of setups, that is full of, fakes, moves all around yung mapa natin with the extenuation, no? Pagdating dito sa mid EA and curve take natin, occasionally may makikita tayo action dito sa B and sa A. So, interesting yung magiging approach sana ng Execration considering na naandito nga sila sa GR side. Are they gonna be presenting the exact same defense na nakikita natin from the other teams like yung forward storage B position or maybe assigning someone to the LA side? And I think the biggest question as well is paano magper-perform dito si Zetra sa mapa ng new compound. Obviously, new compound, though. Granted, we have had good sniper performances sa mapa na to, but this map isn't as friendly pagdating sa sniper kumpara sa mga ibang maps natin kagaya ng Ankara and kagaya nga dito ng mga ibang mapa like Black Widow, for example. So, it's a challenge para sa mga snipers natin and at the same time for the riflers to step up because that gap is going to be very prevalent pagdating sa mapa natin. And Execration, they need to display patience dito sa mapa natin kasi Virtus.pro obviously, no, they are going to be playing that heavy mind games just like what we saw dito sa map 1 and some parts of map 2. They will be faking a lot dito sa mapa na to. They will be trying to draw your attention somewhere else para makatake sila sa kabilang side ng mapa. So, kailangan maging ready itong Exe para basahin kung ano man itatapon ng BP dito sa BL.
Sure.
Yung
Nothing
mapa ng
embodies 20-second executes more than new compound itself. And VP being on BL, baka yun na nga yung makikita natin sa kanila. No? On the side of GR naman, Execration is gonna bank on that middle ground. Habang may pillars control pa rin naman na minamandohan ngayon ni Yobe very solo on that side of the map. VP have that opportunity to take EA very aggressively, but knowing the system of VP, they're not really the type of team na fire starters pa lang agad. They're gonna slowly whittle the life out of you, lalo na in terms of map control. Double pillar setup now. Kasama na agad yung isang player on that lurk itself. As Execration are watching every extremity. The lack of exit is telling me that entry point is still present for VP, but that's not really the entry point. It's gonna be papunta dun sa curve.
Ayun nga, this is the mid-focus na sinasabi ko nga kanina, no? Kung kailangan mo muna kumuha ng mid para makuha ang EA at yung curve. Very important points in the map, pero si Zetra ang unang masuspect dito ni ZYK. Good crouch peek to take the sniper out that forced itong Virtus.pro na mag-back ng onte. And what little mid control na meron sila dito, nawala agad dahil dito kay ZYK.
Little bit of adjustment as well para sa loadouts ng parehong teams natin. Yotib, or Yorbub, excuse me, now on that TRG. Slowly crawling his way back on towards that store B position na ngayon. Right, MVA, Folex pa yan, no? Parang sapat na yun para sa depensa na meron sila ngayon. C4 still dropped in the hands of that mid setup for VP as well. So they're keeping both CBN and the Rifler setup pa rin doon sa may mid setup. As VP now have store B control. Pero 30 seconds na naman ang execute. Mukhang mamaya pa sila papasok dito, men.
Yun na nga. Execration. Ready and waiting dito sa B-site natin. And Folex. Ako po. This is within the means of the 10-second window para dito sa Virtus.pro, pare. Will be trying to enter the site pero ready si Folex para sa mga EV players natin. NBA will take out KSA as well. And Execration. Granted, wala nang time para mag-plant dito ng C4 and I really like that. I really like that call galing sa Execration kasi alam nila kung saan magagaling yung majority ng mga players. Instead, focus na lang natin yung EV where the C4 is likely. And grabe. Smart play, smart defense galing dito sa Exe. Not overextending within their means of it. Instead, lumalaban na lang sila sa mas smarter na angles pwede natin tawagin.
Yun nga, it's almost like adapting to that 20-second execute na ginagawa nga ng VP. No over-rotation needed. As long as they still have that player. BA holding down the space. Keeps that level of defense na hinahanap nga naman ng Execration. Kahit very slow pa nga yung naging approach para dito sa VP as now Cetra dapat slow kanina sa loob na siya agad dito ng curve. Very good contention para sa kanya. As long as he gets that pick dun sa rotation, then malalock out yung Execution sa the rotate nila from both A and B side. So as you watch that replay, Alex being the one to hold the line, while you also have that high-low setup with MVA just ensuring that defense. And Execration back on that defense.
And ayun, I don't know what happened to the game, pare. Maybe we got a bit too spicy dito sa compound, and all of a sudden, ayun nga, it all goes black, pare. And we're gonna be back with the game naman anytime soon. Dito sa laruan natin, we just need to figure out what is happening behind the scenes. So, ayun nga, Execration obviously with a great start dito sa mapa natin, and I mean, what can you say, man? I feel like they already got the motion dito sa simula ng round natin. They're recognizing na they only have to realistically pick one player galing dito sa mid push ng Virtus.pro, and then they can kind of defend it from the sides. And pili ko magiging susi dito para sa Execration especially is to look for where the bulk of the players are, and dun sila mag-focus, pare. Try not to get too distracted dito sa mga lurk na ginagawa ng VP. If you find where nasaan yung tatlo or apat na players and you kind of just target them at that point, pwede pa ito maging mapa ng Execration for sure.
Yeah, definitely, pre. I mean, get sa makita kasi they really are playing in a way, and I'm talking about yung GR side ng Execration, diba? They're playing in a way that they're not really fighting for that early contention na na-expect natin sa ilang teams on GR side sa new compound. Hindi na kino-contest yung pillars, hindi nila pinupush yung mid. They're holding those angles, oo, pero hindi nila parang binibigay lang agad-agad yung map spaces na na-mention ko nga kanina. So, it's a challenge for VP na sila naman dapat yung kumuha ng space na yon. But it's kind of going against yung parang playstyle na gusto na lang ilaro dito sa new compound map, where if they're gonna play that slow tempo, then para sa depensa nitong mga players natin on Execration, they're just gonna tuck in and turtle up sa lahat ng mga inuhold nila dito, which is a good strategy laban dito sa VP na mag-20 second execute na lang ng paulit-ulit, diba? So, siguro yung adjustment na hinahanap ko na lang is to kind of kick the tempo up. Maybe be a bit more aggressive nga naman. Oh, it goes against their vision and mission. But it's a good way to kind of get that first pick para sa kanila and possibly just get that execute going para sa players natin ng VP.
Oh yeah, for sure. I feel like VP, yun nga, no, they might want to go back to their old reliable, which is yung nga faking and looking for picks dito sa mapa natin, which I think is yung objective dito ni Zetra, and that's why he is usually the first player in para dito sa VP. Obviously, I do want to preserve the sniper's life as much as possible dito sa mapa na to, pero usapang new compound kasi, and mapapaisip ko na lang, okay, the impact na makukuha ni Zetra is in towards mid tower, maybe anchoring itong A retake defense or MP retake defense. Pero realistically, I feel like they draw a lot more value when they kind of assign him as the NT role para sa kanyang team. And obviously, with Zetra's speed sa kanyang sniping, pare, any shot is definitely possible. Pero may bad tendency kasi itong si Zetra na he really does have a bit of a, hindi ko masasabing patience problem, but he really does clear angle and then move on to the next one. Parang natatake advantage tuloy ni ZYK na, oh, he's not looking at me anymore, let me just get the repeak, and all of a sudden nag-crash down na nga yung kanilang opensa. So siguro a lot more careful para sa mga ibang players natin on the side of VP, pero para kay Zetra, I think he should just do the exact same thing, no? Kasi yun nga, he could also provide a very, very sick opening para nga dito sa mga VP players natin with maybe a pick to C2, maybe may pick dito sa curve. Any pick in new compound dito sa GR side is definitely valuable para sa mga PL players natin.
Totoo. That's gonna make a lot more easier para sa kanila kapag nakuha nga yung pick na yan. I want to go back to that conversation you had about yung tendencies nga naman ni Cetra, where he does get a little bit more aggressive nga naman when he does get that first pick, tapos mag-reposition siya agad. It's a little bit more of a broader topic where we kind of can compare yung tendencies na parehong si Cetra as well as itong si ZYK. You don't really see that a lot from ZYK these days. Siguro sa prime years si ZYK back then, nung ginagawa niya siguro yun when he's a little bit younger. But he's more seasoned. He knows how to counter those types of aggressive playstyles sa sniper katulad ni Cetra, who, let's be honest, he's in a system na siya yung pinakabagong salta, kumbaga, as a sniper. And despite him having a very good year from last year with Evo's Arc, he's still very much the newcomer and still very much a new stay pa rin naman dito sa master stage natin. So, yeah, that's the big comparison that you're kind of dealing with up against the best of the best dito sa SEA Masters. But it kind of tells you as well sa kung ano yung kinatatayuan ni Cetra is that he is where he belongs pa rin talaga, despite a few of the shortcomings pa rin.
Yeah, and ironically, no, Execration is actually built like itong old SGJ pare. Granted, I wouldn't say na MVA is the youngest player within the bunch dito sa CA Masters, pero in players full of potential, I feel like we can kind of lump itong si Justin in, no, and being right behind the leader, kagaya nga dito ni ZYK, definitely could yield very good results para nga dito sa Execration. Pero the thing is with Execration, man, we keep talking about their potential, pare. It's potential 24/7, but I need to see some kinetic energy, man.
Yes,
Galing sa kanila especially kasi ayun nga, we can kind of glaze them all they want dito sa analyst desk and dito sa caster desk as well, but man, we need to see some results from them especially, no, and hindi lang rounds ang kailangan nilang kunin. We need to see some definite wins. And a win up against Virtus.pro, malaking boost yan sa kanilang confidence, especially dito sa C Masters.
Big boost on their side, but also could be an unfortunate result sa isang VP that we're kind of used to being at the pedestal nga naman, especially on a master stage where they come back here trying to defend their Masters Championship nga naman, no, despite the loss against Team Stallions in the regional finals. Pag master stage talaga, ibang VP talaga, no, being very formidable when it comes to those playoff contentions ka naman. Pero dito sa group stage, nagiging close yung mga games nila, no? You go back to their games up against yung like the likes of QD, also being contested now against an Execration who are showing a few of their flaws. Kahit nung sila yung nag-start on BL, marang ang dami mga butas na na-exploit pa rin ng mga players nila, kahit sa QD, kahit dito sa Execration. Is it because of experience or is it also because of that experimentation stage nga naman na sinasabi ni Zero2, no? Is it really that, or is Virtus.pro really at the start of just being caught up by the competition, kumbaga?
I feel like trying to read Zero2's mind is definitely gonna be quite the hard thing, pare, kasi you really don't know what that man is thinking. And it's beneficial para nga dito sa Virtus.pro, no? Kasi ayun nga, that randomness galing dito kay Zero2 also kind of shows in his coaching. You do see the variety, just like what I said, the variety of pacing para nga dito sa Virtus.pro, na they can go fast, they can go slow, and at the right moments as well. And feeling ko inaantay dito ng VP, especially when it comes to this new compound map, is that one moment where everything just clicks para sa kanila dito. I think we kind of saw that dun sa Ankara map when they did get that one round and they said, okay, we know what the default looks like. We know what part of the playbook ang Execration ay naandito. So, they're gonna try and see if they can get an early read dito sa GR side and kind of try to catch the rhythm, no, sa ginagawa nga dito ng Exe, especially when it comes to GR side. If you can tell na merong triple B defense or maybe a triple A defense, more mid-defense para ka sa kanila dito, it really is the responsibility ng mga attackers natin on the side of VP to recognize that early and kind of play around that, pare. So, ayun nga, Execration, it's kind of a chess match, no, between yung mga IGLs natin dito, for sure.
Definitely. KLR versus ZYK matchup na nakikita natin ngayon. And in the macro sense, it really is entertaining to say the least, diba? Pero when it comes to firepower pa rin naman, hindi din naman nagkukulang sa ating matchup, which is something that we kind of expected now in a matchup between Execration versus VP. Alam na natin na ganitong magiging close ang laban na to. So sure na sure akong hinihintay na lang ng mga viewers natin kung ano yung nangyayari. So we're in a bit of a dead round. Medyo kailangan natin ayusin ng onti-onti yung nangyayari outside of the server. So konting pasensya lang sa mga nanonood ngayon, pati na rin sa mga fans ng both Execrations was VP. We're happily gonna give you an update kapag nakakuha na kami in a very very short notice. At sure na sure akong gusto na din bumalik sa server ng ating mga players dito on the side of both teams. So, siyempre, no, that also brings up new conversations as well. A lot of exciting things sa SCA Masters, no? We have seen yung both Rosea teams natin actually try their best on getting that set win pa rin with not a lot of success so far, diba? And it's not really that close of a conversation so far. So, ano yung masabi mo sa mga Rosea teams natin, Sneaky? How do they shape up in the competition of SCA Masters so far?
Honestly, this would be bad to say, no, pero I would say it's kind of expected, knowing na they were kind of far removed galing dito sa prior competition nila, and obviously you're kind of going into the league super rusty, no? So I would feel like there is still plenty of improvement para dito sa mga Rosea teams natin. And I feel like everybody's really underestimating itong team na to. I mean, for good reason. No? Their lack of experience is really what's shooting them in the foot dito sa liga natin. But I feel like their improvement is very quick. Na dapat maging worried yung mga teams natin by the time we enter maybe Season 2 or maybe itong regionals natin. Kasi, ayun nga, no, granted, you know, Riders and itong veterans, man, it's been quite a crushing first 2 weeks para sa kanila dito. Pero nakikita ko naman na they are attempting stuff that they have seen from the other regions, possibly maybe attempting some counterplays dito sa mapa natin. It's not really as much of a wash that we expected. No, there's actually a bit of a fight para sa mga friends natin for the side of Rosea, and I do look forward dito sa continued improvement nila, and they picked the best region to go up against pa Philippines, where every playstyle mahanap mo dito sa Pilipinas, pare.
Yun nga eh. You got a bit of that discipline over at from EMEA. You got a little bit of that aggression coming through sa China, no? And you mix both of that together, you got the Philippines, pare. So parang okay na din to kung naghahanap ka ng region na pagpraktisan no? Sa PH na nga lang din, or sa buong SCA where you have that opportunity to do so. You're getting all the different flavors every week at mas lalo kang marami matututunan. Possibly also something that you can bring sa susunod nating split as well, no? Or sa susunod na mga editions natin ng SCA Masters, maybe in the big 2027, we might see some improvements for this region as a whole, no? Maybe not just for Rosea as a whole, no? Maybe other regions around that SCA or APAC scale in time as well. Baka makita natin yung mga brothers natin from Australia as well. Malay mo, Malaysia also gets themselves in the conversation, no? It's exciting times kasi in the year 2026, we were also surprised that this opportunity was present in the first place. Maybe opens up the conversations for more orgs to keep investing in the esport that is CROSSFIRE. It's just evolving every year. We're kind of reaching the pinnacle of it dito sa SCA Masters, pre.
Oh, for sure, pare. I feel like there is plenty of CROSSFIRE to play, and there's plenty of CROSSFIRE to go around para sa ating mga Rosea teams, pare. So I am looking forward to the international bros joining us at the upper echelon dito ng CROSSFIRE. And yung kulang na lang sa atin, di ba kompleto na tayo as a region? Pero yung kulang sa atin, we need Brazilian type IGLs, man. We need some Fei-Feis, we need some Piana ones dito sa region natin, man. Because everybody wants to be a sniper and an attacker, man. But pansin ko nga dito, no one wants to be an IGL, which is pretty worrying. So shoutout sa mga young IGLs.
Yeah. Shout out kay Justin. Not an IGL, but he's definitely commanding yung pag-push ng VP. Gets one kay KSA, pero Yobev gonna take him down 1-for-1. Curve now controlled by VP. MVA gonna hold down that entry point papunta dun sa may B site as well. So knowing VP, they're not gonna be continuing yung control nila doon sa may curve. Iwan na lang nila yung isa. And possibly just contest up against the Store B player that is Folex.
Okay, Yobib. Bit of distance dito sa B side, pero si Folex pwedeng makaharang dito. It's a very nice angle. And actually spotting itong si Elvin, but who is he gonna spot first? Kellar! Yobib almost down, pero di na nakuha yung headshot on the second player. Importante na na-delay ni Paul ang pag-push dito sa B side. And naandito na nga si NBA, nasa ilalim dito sa mga servers, and masyadong delikato yata yun, pare.
Good smoke nga, nilagay agad ng Execration, so there's no entry point for VP, at least in their heads. Pero the double push-up for Execration to re-clear now onto the mid-side. This is gonna be deadly. Lalo na pag nag-drop nila yung C4.
Wait, CBN? Hold on, headshot. Oh, had to make sure, pare, just in case. Baka mag-count sa statistics, man. He's trying to get that H&K up again! Pero si Zetra, hindi na kailangan ng headshot. He just needs a kill. 2 versus 2. All of a sudden, mano-i-mano situation dito sa mapa natin. And NBA, CBN, HKs on both players, M4 and a TRG para dito sa VP. And this is very nice galing sa X. Magdidikit na lang silang dalawa. It's at most a trade and a 1v1 if they cannot get both. Pero magbabanggaan yata lahat ng players natin dito sa B-side. CBN, NBA, 2 headshots, 2 headless players na lalabas dito sa CB, and Execration collect another one.
That is Great decision making from CBN. The re-clear sa mid. Patay si Yobib dropping the C4 and then not committing to the fight itself. Rotate pabalik para dalawa silang magkocontrol doon sa mid side as well. That is Execration playing the macro. But Elvin Zetra putting them down sa micro establishment. Getting the 2 kills. Pero Justin re-establishing that control again from Execration. But Zetra pushes in. Getting the shot kay ZYK. 3v2. And that's sight wide open.
Justin, NBA, last 2 left alive. Another classic Macta duo pa rin, the initial attacker duo. One of the greatest teams here. Justin, that greatness will not fade away anytime soon. He still gets the headshot dito kay Kellar. Pero si Zetra gusto magpakitang gilas gamit ang kanyang TRG. Justin, can he do the clutch para sa kanyang team? Justin getting Yobe, pero yung sniper, hindi siya titira. He will just stay inside of Z Zetra. Deciding masyadong delikado yung head-to-head fight. I will just play around the timer. Justin attempting a defuse. Zetra attempting a peek. Pero wala na siyang options dito sa mapa. Napaka-open ang C4. At walang defuse ang mangyayari. Good cover for Zetra. And it's a 1 and 2.
Good post plant as well. Good decision making para kay Zetra at that given time. Well, knowing that the time is still running down para kay Justin, so he did not commit to the peak. He had a really good placement as well, or position para sa kanya. He could wrap around all the way towards 2F para kuha yung kill dito kay Justin, pero instead just committed sa Z-push na ginawa niya kanina. Or not even give the dual 1v1 up against him, so just all the time winded down para dito sa VP. Tuto na tayo ngayon, round on the board para sa kanila. So, again, it's that adjustment na nakita natin from VP, just kicking up that tempo. Not even relying on that 20-second execute now. We're seeing yung pag-push ni Yobib to give that space up to the team na talagang hinahanap-hanap natin sa kanila so far. And it's been working out from them. They got themselves that site very easy and quick. Can't deny Execration when it comes to those head-to-heads though. Pag talagang put it at the right player on any given clutch scenario, they will make it close. And Justin did make that close pare. Kala nga natin maka-clutch na yun. Buti na lang di nag-pick si Zetra doon.
Alright. It is a dead round, so it is gonna kill yung momentum dito ng VP a bit, but I don't think they mind a bit of a pause going on dito sa mapa natin, knowing how wild the first 3 rounds have become. So, a really big shoutout as well dito kay Zetra, no? I feel like ang ganda ng ginawa dito ng VP in that last round, considering na ito na yung ginagawa nila, yung sinabi ko kanina, which is the distraction play and then maybe attack the other side of the map. And that was the prime example of it, no? Be present, and obviously mapapapik ka talaga dito sa may mid-side. And Zetra using all the attention na nakuha nga dito ng mga VP players natin to take out the 2 A-side players. So, ayun nga, it was just really well played from his side. And sinabi ko nga, no, the sniper could have limited impact pagdating nga dito sa laruan natin, pero if Zetra's way of sniping, low-key, he does kind of treat it like a rifle, no? Ganun siya ka-confident sa kanyang sniping pare. So, looking forward to what else he can pick off dito sa mapa natin. But Exe though, maybe they want to fight back, baka mid-push or CB push, maybe something aggressive galing sa kanila pare.
I haven't seen an exit push papunta dun sa A, no? From VP, maybe they're keeping it in their back pocket pag tumagal nga yung laruan natin dito, no? And I think that's one of the open holes na pwede nga i-exploit ng VP kasi parang wala nga masyadong nakatao dun sa may store A because they're fully putting all their eyes set up dun sa mid and less more on that A attention as well. So, will VP find that adjustment later on? It's a question that's gonna be answered later on pag bumalik tayo dito sa game natin. Pero mabilis ang dead round nga lang muna tayo dito, you know. It's gonna be on the technical side muna. Maybe a bit of an issue on either one of these teams dito on the server right now. And we're gonna make sure that we're gonna go back into the game as quickly as possible nga naman, you know. Ayan, daming pag-uusapan na pwedeng ilabas dito ng topics, no? Maybe the possible kind of vibe check sa pareho nating top 2 teams nga naman, no? In the current state for Team Stallions, there is no question that they're still the top 1 team right now. But Itama ba to kayo yung tanong sa'yo, no? Is VP in the state that they are in ngayon, do you think they're gonna win in the grand finals up against Team Stallions, pre?
Right now, no. Sa playoffs, yes. For sure. Kasi there's two different versions kasi ng Virtus.pro, and I think a lot of people don't recognize this na I think the one Masters na naipanalo nila, no, they actually had 1 or 2 losses dito sa kanilang record. So, losses in the group stage really don't dictate what VP can offer. And just like what I said, experimentation for group stage at baka lock in na nga para dito sa playoffs. And we see how scary itong VP is pagdating sa playoffs natin, pare, especially number 5 sa kanilang team, men.
Yep, for sure, pare. We cut the conversation short. We go back in towards the game. 1-2 VP, EA controlled by them. Dalawa lang nakatao dito. ZYK solo holding that down. Nandito din si CBN. Justin responding in time. He gets the shot. He even gets the second. VP no entry point. Pinalabas sila agad ng Execration.
Grabe, really good cover. Galing kay Justin to defend his captain from certain doom. And the sniper stays safe. Elvin nakita na nga. Dito yung isang player pero si NBA makakapatay dito kay Zetra. And what is the decision? Napakalayo ng C4 para dito sa Virtus.pro. And NBA and itong si ZYK pumalit na dito sa mga HK natin, men. It's kinda hard to miss with those weapons.
Definitely on the right players as well. ZYK has the option to go back towards a TRG, but guess nararamdaman niya yung rifle na ngayon, no? I can't really fault him for that. It's also a good weapon for him to kind of play the trading game with MVA ngayon as Elvin. Rolling up a little bit closer with 1 minute on the clock. Exit. Finally. Plan for him to push on in. The second. ZYK very close. Sa room A pa nga siya. Nakabantay ngayon. Have their backs turned dito sa exit. And they're letting Elvin just play for that space. C4 still very wide open. Elvin with the swing. And MVA is just gonna sit him down. Another round para sa Execration.
Yep, Execration. I think nare-recognize nila pare na maybe this kind of crossfire is actually beneficial para sa atin. We can kind of sit back, throw some random aggression from time to time dito sa isang side ng mapa, and we can still benefit off of it even though 4 versus 5 is sitwasyon. So, big ups dito kay ZYK. And big ups din kay Justin. If Justin didn't fly in galing dito sa Z, ZYK would have had his head taken off by 2 players dito na VP. Pero si Justin could prevent that from happening. KSA now spotting itong si ZYK. No longer Justin helping, but Justin trading instead dito sa may Z side. KSA first kill on his. Pero si NBA nasa likod. Titignan ba nila kung nasan si Elvin? And here comes the flank action galing kay Elvin. Did you forget kung sino ang kalaban yung Execration? You always got to look behind you.
Man, the executes were so good on the way from VP that Execration forgot about Elvin. The Elvin factor. Sa mga late rounds natin, where he finally finds the holes inside the defense of Execration, and an open entryway onto B is something that he abuses time and time again. KLR gets the shot kay ZYK. He did not even pull the trigger sa TRG niya dito. Giving another first blood over to VP. This is VP locking in sa naging push nila on that mid side.
Grabe, KSA will get CBN. And yun nga, natin yung lakas dito ni Elvin on full display, just like a certain play pare. Really good at ratting and really good at going invisible dito sa laban natin and just disappearing from the information ng mga Exe players. And that's the thing about itong Virtus.pro, no? Granted, may atake na napaparating sa'yo, KSA and Yobib are running at you. Pero kailangan mo parang isipin, man, Elvin is gonna come out of nowhere from any angle dito sa mapa. And that's why he is one of the most annoying players para sa mga pro players natin in Masters. Pero NBA will take care of the KSA problem first. Yun lang. Pero makikita na ba dito si Yobin? Mukhang hindi. The M4 once again making an appearance pare. But the HK dito ni Fallex will get to. Pero di pa tapos ang labanan. Meron na nakapasok na KLR dito sa B-site. Pero ang ganda ng call ng Exe. Let's just take double storage.
Yeah, absolutely. Fallex on that angle. Justin also to support. VP have the plant. Kailangan pa rin nilang labanan Napakainit na riflers on the side of Execration. Justin making his presence known. KelR has to reposition. Di pa na nakita na nag-reposition si KelR, so they are thinking about the possible re-aggress. Justin with the clear, KelR with the spray down. 1 versus 1 up against Folex. And he's been accurate, precise laban sa kanya. Tries to clear him, tries to find that battery's control, falls down towards him. 1v1 with that USP. Nilalaroan pa lang and inikutan lang ni Michael. VP win the gunfight 3-3 for Virtus.pro.
Grabe. And KelR, all too familiar with the dance of death dito sa batteries natin ng compound na pa version 1, 2, or 3 yan. He is just dancing around it. Grabe. And that is what you have to do in the B site. Pro tips. You can kind of run around like a rat dito sa B-main para lang ma-prevent yung C4 na ma-defuse. But you have to be very careful, man. The moment you get caught in the wrong move, pwede ka nga ma-headshot kagaya nga dito ng ating kasama. So, 3-3. Virtus.pro on a roll pagdating dito sa kanilang BL side. And I feel like yung mga overextensions nila from the prior 3 rounds na natalo sila dito, it's them kind of getting info dito sa mga XC players natin.
Yeah. That's a punishment that we're looking for. Again, it's becoming very close for VP. Finally sealed it over the line thanks to the IGL himself to saving it para sa team niya. Kaya babalik na lang ang VP sa kung saan di sila pamilyar sa teritoryo na to. No, STA finally making the presence there. Catching the attention of CBN, who's also gonna be re-clearing that angle habang naka-rotate na agad ang VP. Sasamahan si Elvin. He's not the lurker. Now he's gonna be the one to give that entry point for the team. 1 minute. 2 stacked up. MVA as well as Folex still holding down that line. Will they be able to stay up against VP who are present doon sa store B? Gets the kill. KSA gets that push. Pasok sa B. And MVA gonna have to play defense. Push on in onto KSA. Gets the spray. Gets the 2K. Tuloy-tuloy para kay MVA. Pero Setra hits the 2K. VP showing the right and left
Still
hook,
alive!
and MVA is still alive and kicking. 1v1, and it's up against Elvin this time, 30 seconds.
Grabe, the battle of the bottom A hold, and this is what I was talking about. As long as you're holding that bottom side and you have control, this B side is very easy to defend. But a pop flash sa harap ng mga EB players creating this situation para kay MBA. Spotting Elvin, kailangan na pumasok ng B. Headshot, but it's through the bar, and Elvin getting saved by 3 inches of steel railing. Na headshot sa dun, pero sumala dun sa railing, pare. Oh my goodness. Mahal ka ni CROSSFIRE dun.
The smallest margins for error. And the biggest what-ifs na may isip na ngayon ng Execration. Where Elvin really hits it between the knife this time. KSA delivers on to Justin na ngayon. 5 versus 4 early on. At sa curve pa nga, nag-push ulit ang mga players natin ng Virtus.pro. Nagkaroon na sila ng mode ngayon where they're now looking for those early picks nga naman. They get that. They rotate and still have that decision na pwede na lang ulitin nung pag-push na lang on that pillar spot. And that makes VP so unpredictable talaga, pre. You cannot underestimate kung saan talaga sila manggagaling.
I can't believe na nanalo yung VP dito just because there was that 3-inch steel railing na nasa harap na mukha dito ni Elvin. Grabe. Nakita ko yung dink and it hit for 28. I was like, huh? So that's not how the HK works. Pero siguro kung EBR yung hawak dito ni MB, and I don't think it would have made a difference, pare. That's just a isolated incident. But man, that just means VP, they do have luck on their side. Lady luck on their side as well. So Execration, they need to reduce yung variance dito sa mapa natin. Maybe make sure that they have more sure strategies that can definitely take down itong Virtus.pro. A-site execute. I think may lurk na magagaling kay Elvin na papunta dito ng B-site. Pero si YK sumala sa smoke. Nakita na kasi Zetra. Still, bit of a pause from the side of Virtus.pro. Pwede nilang i-consider itong B-site. Mag-isa lang dito si Folex. And Folex is not in the best position para i-defend to. Nandun siya sa pader and he's out in the open. Folex will get taken down. Yo, babe. May kita na nga rin si MBA. Quickscope galing kay ZYK, but it could be a dying attempt. CBN finding Elvin sa may mid-side, and they do confirm na dalawa ang magagaling dito sa EB. Makes it a lot easier para sa Virtus.pro. But can they hit their shots? 30 seconds left dito sa C4 natin. Walang utility ang Execration. It will only be bullets. That will be the cause for concern para dito sa Virtus.pro. And the time ticks down. Really good rotation galing kay CBN para maspatan itong si Yobib. Separate the fights. Make it individual 1v1s. And here comes the push. CBN instant headshot. Spotted agad si Kellar. Two-man push. But Kellar gets the kill. Can he go for another delay once again? Hindi na makaka-defuse itong si CBN and Kellar. The singular second of delay na nagawa na dito sa B-site, making that C4 explode. 5-3 para sa BP.
Another round where KELR just becoming a nuisance pagdating sa post plant natin. The 1 second delay before he peeks on towards CBN. That was just the icing on top of the cake. And a round where CBN could have single-handedly stolen it against VP because of the flank na nakuha nga nila kanina in the 2v2. Last second decision making where Execration now adjusts a bit of their GR positions back on towards pillars kung saan nagsimula sila sa mid kanina. VP, they had a lot of eyes set on towards that STA kanina, so walang mamamatay in an instant dito. Anong casualties? Baka sa mid sila mag-aggress, baka curve na naman ang uulitin ng VP dito.
Option is definitely there para dito sa VP. Nakakross si Zetra without CBN spotting him, but he finally does. What a play galing dito ay Zetra to get CBN off of C1. Kellar, nakita na nga si Justin pero meron pa down na nasa loob ng 2F. ZYK and the boys rotating papuntang CR, and a really good fight to defend their sniper. 3 versus 3. Yobib finally setting down the C4. 3 players na nasa loob ng CR para sa Execration. Kailangan may dumaan ng mid, pero naandito si Elvin sa may tower side. Overseeing, pero pwedeng iwasan ni FallX. He can just slip on by, tap-walking his way into EA, but he's also very suspect na meron pa tao na nasa tower at tama sa dito. Turns around, getting the headshot on Elvin. 18 seconds. Time is of the essence para dito sa Execration. Yobib getting NBA spray down for KSA and the USP. Gets ZYK 6-3. VP creating the 3-point lead dito sa first half. Those first 3 rounds were just testers pala dito, pare.
Yeah, they pulled the trigger on finally throwing in that chaos. Doon nakuha na lang yung space dun sa may EA. They actually got themselves the option to kind of rotate back on CR, but instead they kind of wanted to commit pa rin. And commit they did on towards that A site itself. While, may threat pa rin on Elvin, but that was heavily handled by FallX. Rotation niya. They still had to counter that C3 player. That was KSA who established a bit of a crossfire with the Room A player on their post plant itself. So VP really had an untouchable post plant position. Definitely set themselves up for success dito sa new compound natin. 6-3 is the score sa first half. At ngayon, yung VP naman ang magsisimula on that GR. So, Execration will have that adjustment period pagka-swap ng sides. And I know that if you put Volex on that entry, he will provide that bit of leverage for your team. He will be good for one, but I'm kind of thinking kung lalabas nga ba yung side na yun, kasi no-worry ako sa first set na yun. We didn't see that Volex. Will we see the firepower come out of his eyes kapag nagsimula na sila ngayon on that BL side?
KSA has a shotgun.
No.
Okay. It's allowed. It's a balanced weapon. Quote unquote, pare. Why does it have a laser sight? Is that? I don't know. Is it for range? Ito, I need the devs to explain it to me bakit may laser sight ang shotgun, pare. Pero, could be a bit of slug action going on dito sa mapa natin with an auto shotty, pare. Pero
He pulled it out on 3-6 map 3, pre.
They need a surprise. They need to catch itong Execration so off guard na matitilt nga sila off the face of the earth pagdating nila dito sa ating BL side. Pero hindi naman dadaan ng B side ng mga players natin. And I feel like shotgun is definitely valid considering you take like CQCs and medium range fights dito sa mapa na to. So, wouldn't be surprised if it finds a kill. And wouldn't be surprised if ZYK finds one as well. PRG, fully online para sa kanya today. Pero, meron pang 4 na kailangan nilang isipin dito.
Put themselves on exit, but I think na-read pa rin ng VP that they still have that D player still on hand, but Justin gets the kill kay etc. And another shot then kay Justin as well. So A-site now is the call. Decisively para sa kanila. They kill 4 of the riflers and they leave the shotgun player KSA all on his lonesome.
Yeah, I would want to see... He dropped it. I would want to
Huwag mo
see...
ipakita.
Huwag mo ipakita. That's the secret plan, man. You don't want them finding out about the shotgun in the B side, pare. Pero Execration, good find dito sa may long A. Instant react para sa mga players on towards that mid side. It's just a good old classic A take na nakikita ka natin sa mapa nito. I'm surprised na itong VP hindi nila ginamit yung room A at all, which is a pretty good spot dito sa A side natin, men. And I think KSA, you should be the one there.
But instead, he has an FN shotgun and still holding that STB, pare. So, it's yet to find its success. Pero the threat is still there. At hindi pa rin alam niya ng Execration kasi nga binato niya kanina, So, pros and cons. But still, Execration with that round point now sets them up to be a little bit of touch and distance laban sa VP ngayon. So,
I have a gut feeling that it's gonna do 72 damage at agad tong si KSA. Kasi hindi nyo nga alam ang randomness ng shotgun nga dito sa laro na to. Yun nga, you can either get the sickest spread at lahat napunta sa ulo yung mga pellets, but you could also get not a single pellet to the head. So, hopefully center mass ang ina-aim natin dito kaya boss KSA, but CBN is starting to just stay within the storeroom, just making sure na wala nga papunta dito sa ating B pillar. Ang problema nga lang, I don't think KSA minds na wala siyang control ng pillar, but he has the shotgun. Let's see if it works para dito sa B site. 5 players in front of you. Don't die to Paul, man. Do not die to Paul. I can see you slipping between the gaps, pare. But I think he's trying to bait them in. Swinging left, right, and center, pare. KSA. Can he get it? Can he get the shotgun kill that he wants? He goes left side dito, and hindi nga niya makukuha. Instant headshot from Folex. But can the B players stop this push from happening? Zetra nakita na si Paul. Zetra nakita na si Aljon. Justin nakapatay ng isa dito kay Yobib. 3 versus 3 retake, and a perfect move galing kay Kellar na mag-flank na agad bago pa makababa ang C4, bago pa makaset ang paa dito ng Execration. And here comes Kellar with the flank. CBN down, MVA tagged up, and meron pang information kung nasan sa dito sa loob ng site. But where is the EB player in this entire fight? I think inaantay nilang mawala yung smoke dito sa EB. Here comes the flash for MVA and a one-tap! Galing kay Kellar, and MVA will get taken down. The captain goes killing again.
they had 2 surprises in that round. The shotgun inside store that did not get any sort of value, pero yung flank all the way from Kellar was just picture perfect in terms of timing and in terms of the value para sa Virtus.pro. 7-4 na nga naman para sa El Capitan ng Virtus.pro. Much needed dahil nga naman sa naging execute para sa Execration. They finally got in towards the B site because of the execute onto store B. At nawala ng B side, naging shotgun play ni KSA, but it did not matter dahil nga naman sa naging positions on the post plant where he was wide open onto the peak. So there was threat coming through on RS, pero the threat was coming from the back lines, man. KLR, ang shining factor pa siya doon sa naging flank all the way from downtown, is now with this Execration back on towards that mid side. KLR now not gonna be flanking anymore. He's gonna be on the front lines doon pa lamang sa may mid, and possibly contesting up against an Execration who might actually run it back and maybe play around yung store B natin this time around. Hindi na nag-iisa si KSA dito. Now he has assistance from Yobid this time.
Zetra though, trained eye in towards yung mid-side natin. No one's gonna cross that anytime soon para dito sa Exe. But Exe, They've gotten this B site, or an attempt at it. Honestly, KSA, you can run back yung shotgun, pare. Hindi mo naman nabaril dito sa last na skirmish mo, pero naka-HK na siya dito. Let's see what the difference will be. KSA making his presence known, and that could be a mistake. Pero si Polex pa mahuhulog. KSA gets 2. Almost getting the turnaround dito kay Justin. CBN tagged up to low HP, and what I assume was just a check dito sa storage B. Nawalan pa nga sila ng 2 players, pare.
Yeah, man. Unfortunate para dito sa Execration. Did a little bit too much. Sa pag-clear nga naman papunta doon sa may store. Still have the option of trying to commit back on towards that B site, but they haven't cleared itong si Yobib. And they don't have the wraparound sa curve para mapatay siya on the wide angle. So it's all gonna be coming down towards this push dito sa entrance. Yobib now knows na papasok dito ang Execration. Justin with a good cover, and Yobib gonna show himself. Easy 2K para kay Yobib. At si ZYK magda-drop shot na lang. USP out para sa kanya. 3 seconds, no time to plant for the objective. It's VP winning it out on pure technicality.
Grabe. And you can see how slow CBN tried to turn dito sa player na nasa likod niya, pare. That is the unfortunate reality para sa mga low sense players natin in this game. Man looked like a statue for a second, pero ayun nga, hindi mapatay dito si Kellar dito sa ating site. But at the same time, I think Virtus.pro instant reaction sa pagsala nga dito ng Exe dito kay KSA. But I feel like KSA has already done his job. He kind of forced the hand dito ng Exe dito sa B site. And ayun nga, VP just going for the full read instead. And si Kellar, may kita na nga si ZYK na kanina pang kumukulit sa CB. So he finally goes for the wall bang, pare.
It's a little bit of damage done onto ZYK, so that forces out the 34v5. Instant smoke as a reaction. And DT gonna have we don't have the crossfire, so walang trade galing dito sa mga players pagpatay kay KLR. Cetra with the shot, gets the elevated angle, gets the second kay Justin, at sa pagkapasok niya, CBN goes down. 3K para kay Cetra, pero may entryway pa rin si MVA from exit. As the C4 is already within his hands. 1 versus 2 na para kay Matt Zera. What can you do against a VP who is very disciplined?
Yun nga, KSA rocking the FNTPS, pare. Is it gonna be a factor dito sa mapa natin? We're gonna have to wait and see. NBA gonna be smoking itong 2F natin and possibly be playing that position. No? Pwede siya umupo sa loob ng smoke, maybe try to spot one of the 2 players. Pero tignan mo naman kung saan magagaling ang ating 2 players dito sa 2F side. NBA recognizing it early, pero nakatingin siya dito sa likod. Still worry about the second player. KSA will get taken down to Yobi. Binahanap dito ni Matt, pero magkaharap na nga sila dito. But the USP, once again, displaying why it is the best entry weapon dito sa laro natin. 9-4 VP looking for the jugular dito sa new compound.
Series point para sa VP, stealing it all the way up against an Execration who was fiery hot. Sa pag-entry nila on the way towards this series so far. And it all takes one good push now for Execration. Definitely healing the pressure from Elvin and Cetra. Gets the 2 kills for themselves as we're feeling the beginning of the end. Patay pa nga si ZYK, Folex, CBN, the firepower duo. Might actually have the fire stepped out of them. Lalo na sa mid-push na ginawa dito ng VP as KLR and Yobib ends it with a 10-4. 2-1 para sa VP. And they show that it was not close at all sa new compound map.
Yeah, Virtus.pro done with the experiment, and the experiment is successful dito, pare. And they finally ended up against itong Execration. Execration, obviously, we are expecting a lot more galing nga sa kanila, but they still cannot escape the Mr. Potential only allegations, pare. Ayun nga sinasabi ko. We keep seeing potential but no kinetic galing nga dito sa Exe, and yun nga, up until now we are still waiting for that potential to show para nga sa kanila dito. And para naman sa Virtus.pro, I mean, the reads, absolute reads nga galing nga sa kanila dito, and we do see once again the genius ng macro nga ng ating Virtus.pro squad. You only need 1 or 2 tidbits ng information para maka-execute sa mapa, and Execration, you're kind of caught playing VP's game, and who is better at VP's game than VP, pare? I mean, that's just the way it is, man.
Yep. For sure, pare. I mean, sabi na nga sa lower thirds natin, nangyari na nga ang kung ano yung nangyari last year where it was going to be a VP that has shown that they are still at the top of their game. Despite a very shaky start sa naging series natin, ay pinakita pa rin nila that they can get it over the line. So we're gonna be throwing it over to Mochi as well as Bipolar to close out ang naging successful na ding SCA Masters Spring broadcast para sa laruan na ito.
Maraming salamat sa ating mga casters. Ed, narinig mo ba yun, Bipolar, no? Lots of
Yes.
potential but unfortunately, lack of kinetics, no? Ang sinabi dito ni Sticky Frog, which I actually like because that sums up the entirety dito, no? Sa mapa ng new compound natin. Although, I'm also interested with the gun na gamit dito ni KSA kanina,
Yeah.
no? Which is, I think, is pretty new for us to witness as well. Pero ano ba nga naging thoughts mo dito, Bipolar?
I mean, looking at the matchup muna, no, Execration really does lack pagdating dito sa mga closing out. And hindi sa closing out in terms of map closing out a series. Yun yung talagang kinahihirapan ng Execration. Pero going for the gun dito na KSA, I am not surprised that they'll be pulling out something out of the blue. Kasi feeling ko yun yung, how do you call this ba? It's not experimentation kasi it's kind of the secret na hindi pa nila nilalabas. And they did work with it dito sa ating compound. So, not bad for VP and amazing though, no? Na got out of that pit of hell na parang, nandito na kami sa Cavite. Wait lang, balik tayo sa Tondo. Kasi dito dapat tayo. And they just really took that away from Execration. Pinatikim lang, pero hindi pinalasap ng todo. Parang mapapasabi ka ng tara dito ulit tayo sa VP. Because they did just do it once again. Hindi nila ulit pinapa hindi na nila papalamangin pa dito yung Execration. Despite their roster changes, VP still wins after a very glorious 2-1 win.
And what I also find really interesting is they always find a way in order na laging mapadayo tayo papunta sa ating decider map, no, here for VP. Kasi if you guys may recall, no, in terms of the games na nalaro dito ni Virtus.pro, laging 2-1. Parang pinaparanas nila lagi yung kanilang mga katapat ng pagkapanalo, pero after that one, they snatch that hope back away, no, fitting for the villains that they are. Pero ito nga ang ating statistics dito, no, wherein we can definitely see na here for Justin and MVA, grabe din yung performance sila dito. Naka-double digit din ang ating headshot per kada kill dito. Pero ayun nga lang, kinapos tayo sa parteng yun and instead, nagdomina ang majority ng mga member natin dito na pinangunahan na of course ni Yobeb, ni Shetra, and as well as ni Kel R pa din dito for the side of Virtus.pro.
Yeah, you know what? Looking at Execration muna, no, parang Folex is that man na will give you one map of glory tapos babalik ulit siya sa Folex na kilala natin pagdating dito before playoffs. Kasi 7-13, nako po, parang birthday ko lang. Hindi siya ganun kaganda.
Happy birthday.
Compared, happy birthday, thank you. Hindi pa July.
Ay, di ba ba? Sorry.
I mean, I'm so happy that Justin is 16-12, but looking at the other part of the scoreboard, no, you have Cetra and Yobib still doing whatever they can to just provide for VP, and why not? Let's end it off with Yobib. The Dark Prince is back, and he has given a bite towards the side of Execration.
1.56 KD, my oh my, I mean, it's not that much, pero in terms of impact, talagang yon ang ipinamalas dito, no, ni Yobib. And I don't think nababalikan natin ilan sa mga highlights din dito ng ating mga players maya-maya. Wala, sobrang enthusiastic ng pagkaka-oya mo, no, nung pinoint out ko yun. Pero kung late na kayo to the party, no, we're not that, okay lang yan. Pero ito ang ating stats so far, no, wherein talagang yun nga, no, for Ankara, VP, for Port, it's Exec, grabe yung ating pagkalayo niya, no, yung difference natin dito for our rounds, it's 10-3. Pero dito pa rin sa new compound, binalikan naman ni Virtus.pro getting that 10-4 na stats. So, sino naman kaya ang ating match MVP? It is no other than the one and only Yobib. Siya pa rin talaga, no, in terms of consistency, in terms of performance, in terms of being able to move mountains dito para sa ating team, siya pa din.
Grabe ka na, Leo Parado Vito Jr. Bang! Yobib is in the house once again. And rightfully so, no? Kasi whatever you lack from Folex Execration, that is what Yobib gives. It's consistency. And that is why we see him as one of the best pagdating dito sa scene natin. Just look at that. Sheer aim and potential. At hindi lang siya rifler, Mochi. Aasahan mo si Yobib na he will use that PRG at the nick of time to possibly give you an easy pick-off and an easy advantage for your team. And Yobib displaying us with expertise that he can only do. Yan kaya gawin ibang players. So, Yobib once again MVP for the whole match. It's amazing to see.
Amazing indeed. Even after all of these CQ plays dito, no, na hindi man lang nalalaman ng kalaban, katabi na pala niya itong mga ito. At nagugulat na lang sila, natatanggalan na sila ng ulo. So, well played naman nga talaga, no? Saksihan din natin kung paano siya nakapag-work closely as usual, no? With the likes of Kel R, Elvin, and alongside with the bunch. Kaya naman, no, interview na natin siya at siya mismo, no? We are gonna have Yobib dito
Hello,
sa
hello.
ating
You know.
desk. Hello, Yobib. Okay, solid ang ating performance so far, ah.
Kaya nga, yung sa first map, talaga nagpatambak talaga kami dun para hindi naman bumaba moral ng kalaban namin.
Yan.
Ah.
Para exciting, no, Yobib? Nasa script yan, Yobib.
Nasa
Tama ba?
script namin yan.
Yan. Dali mo. Yobib, it's intense, no, dito sa laban natin. A big shoutout din kay Cetra na nasa likod mo, no? Yobib, after a very, very long matchup, kasi kanina nakita natin yung Rossi teams natin for Vet and Riders, sobrang bilis. Kayo naman, it was a different setting point. Anong nangyari? Ano yung reset na ginawa nyo, especially for you, no, as our MVP? Anong reset nangyari after port tapos nag-lock in queue? Parang pinatikim nyo yung sariling laso na binigay sa inyo na Execration.
Sa nangyaring laban, talagang binigyan lang namin ng challenge yung mga sarili namin. Yung first map, nagpatambak talaga kami, tapos para habulin. Tapos yung second map, binigay talaga namin yung tent. Nagpatente talaga kami dun. Tapos nung third map, ayun talaga yung laro namin.
Yeah. Basically, Yobib, parang feeling ko kasi yan eh. Nagpa-practice lang kayo, no? Pinagpa-practice
may ano
nyo
lang
lang
kami,
mga player na to.
May inaalam lang kami na play ganun.
Similar sa sinabi ni Kel R kanina, no, nung tinanong natin sila, may mga ina-experiment nga daw sila, no, depending dun sa mapa na pipiliin din nila dito. Can confirm, Yobib? Tama ba?
Oo, tama yan. Nag-experiment talaga
Alright.
kami.
Okay.
Kahit
Sige.
matalo lang isang mapa, okay lang. No problem. Alam naman namin na mananalo kami.
Basta sa inyo ang huling halakhak, can vouch.
Yun.
Alright. Sige. Ayan, no, Yobib, no. Actually, may gusto pa akong itanong, pero binati mo na kaagad din, no. Yung 2 daw talaga sila daw nila yung nila doon, yung mapang yon. Pero, ayun, maraming salamat at congratulations. The floor is yours. I-shoutout mo na lahat ng gusto mo i-shoutout, Yobib.
Shoutout sa shoutout sa manager namin si Pilali, sa team ko, sa pamilya ko, sa pamilya ng mga teammate ko, sa asawa ko, yun. Yun lang.
Yun, thank you so much, Yobib. Congratulations ulit,
Congratulations.
makakapagpahinga kayo muli ng husto. It's
Yes,
another day for
Congrats,
Virtus.pro.
Thank you.
Ay,
And there you have it.
Yeah. It's one hell of a round for Yobib. It never faltered kapag si Yobib nasa server natin. He always prevails and he always has the last say pagdating sa mga laban.
Ito, tamang posing lang si Cetra din sa kanyang likod, no? Pero nako po, tignan na nga natin, after all of the matches
Let's
that
go.
we have for this day, ano ba ang naging epekto nito sa ating standings? Yan ang makikita natin ngayon as we see a lot of things or a lot of
Wow.
teams going down. Unfortunately, Riders already at the 10th spot. Execration, Alliance Gaming, and Matches nasa kanya-kanyang mga position nila ngayon in the top 4, 6, and as well as 7, which is this is quite of a big blow for Execration, honestly, no, Bipolar?
Sobrang bagsak nito. Pero kasi kung isipin mo, dalawang matches pa lang sila, Mochi, compared to the people
Ito
above.
naman.
Some of them are hitting 5, some of them are hitting 3. But yeah, this is a big loss for them. But look at Fervid and Virtus.pro now gunning it for that number 2 spot. Etong other players natin, they still have to work for it. But for them, etong number 1, 2, 3 spot natin, this is looking pretty good. Pero VP kasi, it's just like Execration. They haven't had the biggest of matches. Hindi yun pinakamarami. So, this will still change.
Yep, will change for sure, no? So, I do believe na wala pa tayo sa 50% ng buong league natin. But let us check out na rin, no, in a bit kung ano nga ba ang magiging schedule natin. Actually, nagulat nga ako. Akala ko kanina, lalinggo na ba? Hindi pala, Sabado pa lang. No,
Ano ba?
wala
Sabado
na
pa
ako
lang?
ng... Yeah, Sabado pa lang, guys. Sabado pa lang. At kaya naman, ito ang ating magiging
Oh,
schedule
no.
for tomorrow. We have Veteran versus Execration. We have Raidas and as well as Virtus.pro. Nako, parang medyo mahap dito. But also, we have
Yes.
our last match. We will have Team Stallions versus Matches. Nako po.
Ito na nga, Mochi. Kung kanina, Veteran and Riders will be batting all throughout a team that we considered in the middle of the standing. They will be up against the first Veteran will battle up against the prospected top 5 sa buong Mastery, tapos top 2 naman mga kalaban dito ng Riders. But it's the battle for the neighbors. It's Stallions as well as Matches. No? So it's a very interesting matchup tomorrow. So pretty nice.
Pretty nice indeed. And good luck to our Rossi teams as well bukas. No? Medyo mahirap to. Pero maraming salamat sa
Yeah.
lahat ng mga tumambay, nakigulo, nakitawa, nakichismis, lahat-lahat na minsan nakipag-away dyan sa comment section natin. No? And I really do hope that you guys had a great time for today kasi honestly, lots of laughs no para sa araw na to.
Yeah, sobrang solid ng araw to a point na Mochi. Everyone is feeling the blood boiling each and every day. And it just keeps on getting better dito sa CrossFIRE Philippines.
For sure. Kaya naman kayo, everyone, no, itantusan nyo na ang inyong mga kalendaryo. Mag-set na kayo ng alarm clock. Kasi bukas magbabalik kami para sa ating ikapitong araw dito sa ating CFS Masters Spring 2026. For now, have a good night.